Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games, hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Dasilo. With me, as always...
Hello, Tommy Dasilo. My name's Ben Vanel. And with me, as always...
Good morning, video games. Goodbye, 2018. We barely knew ye.
Oh my God, can 2018 just end already?
Can we start 2016 again?
Yeah, what were the big deaths this year? Not as many as in the previous year. It certainly wasn't that critical mass where people are just losing their minds about the natural passage of time.
No one told me this had happened.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait until like the first member of the Friends cast dies so I can say, oh, nobody told me there'd be days like these.
Oh.
That's going to be the funnest day of my life. Mm-hmm. I hope it's Joey. No, I don't hope it's anyone in particular.
Yeah, if you had to pick tomorrow, one of the Friends cast passes away.
What? Yeah, definitely. He had like a massive cocaine problem.
Oh, you're picking who you think it would be, not my question was who you want.
Yeah, who would you
want?
sacrifice? Because like Matthew Perry's great. Yes, you're right. He was addicted to cocaine.
Yeah.
But I mean, who isn't?
Well, I would want the person who most earned an early death
Yes.
to be the one. So
Yeah.
in descending order of most likely to die to least likely to die, I'd imagine it goes Matthew Perry,
Yep.
Courtney Cox.
Interesting.
Okay. Why is that? Justify that.
I reckon she's had a life.
Okay.
I don't know. She was dancing with Bruce Springsteen.
Is that the only reason? Because it's the first thing I thought of.
The curse of the boss.
Yes.
having Jim Carrey jumping around in your face probably wipes 2 or 3 off.
When was that?
Yeah.
In Ace Ventura.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Okay.
Being the
smash.
forgotten one and everything you do, that makes you probably, hit the bottle a little bit or whatever.
Sure.
So it goes
And
Matthew Perry.
Her character was very neurotic in Friends. So stress, it's the
She's
biggest
a
killer.
method actor.
Yep.
Matthew Perry, Courtney Cox. Then it'd go Matt LeBlanc.
Sure.
Then probably Jennifer Aniston.
What about Schwimmer? You don't think Schwimmer?
David Schwimmer after Aniston, I reckon. He seems like he keeps himself healthy.
I reckon you've got Kudrow way too low.
Kudrow's least likely to die.
You think so?
Okay,
Yeah.
She's lived a healthy life.
And she seems just like... You know that type of happy person who lives to 120
Sure.
and they're like, my secret was always eating red meat and smoking cigars.
Yeah.
She strikes me as that.
She strikes me as someone who'd have like some kind of like, she'd be hitting the sleeping pills pretty hard or something like that.
Yeah.
Some going too hard on the prescription stuff that like, it's not tabloid fodder. Like we don't know about it, but it's like, she
Sure.
strikes me as most likely to have kind of something going on behind the scenes.
Getting a lot of sleep, though, very good for you.
Yes, very true. I would, if I had to pick who I would hope it would be, and it really
yes.
all I can base that on is...
I was hoping that was going to be our discussion. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm more interested in that.
But
Yeah.
that is just a brutally unpleasant conversation.
Except my reasoning for it is
Okay.
who I think would make the most entertaining obituary cartoon.
All right, so here you go. You're locked in a room with all 6 friends and you have 4 bullets, but you have to shoot them in one person like this. Bop, 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 bop.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm gonna pick Ross.
Schwimmer, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
Schwimmer.
I think the obituary cartoons would be great.
Okay.
St. Peter, something about being on a break.
Yeah, yes.
The little monkeys there sitting on his shoulder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But if Chandler dies, then
Could
rest
I
in peace.
be any more dead?
Rest in peace, Chanan LeBong.
Yeah. Either of those two would be pretty good. So, okay, so it has to be Matthew Perry because that satisfies your answer of who literally is the least likely.
What about
most likely?
Joey's
and-
one could be how he did.
What?
How you doing?
Oh,
How he did.
it could be.
Is that even...
Well, it's past tense.
Is that just different word? Did you change the tenses of those words or are they...
How you doing?
How he did.
How? No, it would be St. Peter going. How did you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
How'd you do?
Yeah.
How do you do?
Okay, I'm
It
changing-
just changes it into the normal one.
Well, that's if you're assuming St. Peter's talking to his ghost.
It
It's
would
also
be
his ghost.
that drawing would be of St. Peter going, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
and then Joey
Yeah.
going like, "Not so well, Doc."
Yeah.
But it's also,
Yeah.
it was Joey's pickup line, so that implies St. Peter just immediately trying to fuck Joey as
Yeah.
soon as he comes through the pearly gates. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm changing my answer to Joey because I just want to know if this would pan out.
Sure.
I want to know if we'd be right or not.
But Burt Reynolds is the answer.
Oh, who died this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
He taught me it's okay to be weird. The most normal dude in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The least weird person to ever die.
Congratulations to our first award winner, Burt Reynolds, for Death of the Year.
Yep.
In our famous yearly, we invented the concept, Game of the Year episode.
Yes, and like a certain recent gaming awards ceremony, these awards are not for sale. This is a reputable thing we're doing in here. We cannot be bought at any price.
Yes. Anyway,
Unlike certain other institutions
Thank
that may
you to
exist.
to God of War for having a huge ad campaign on our show. The bank balance is looking very healthy thanks to you, God of War.
It's a good game.
Let's wait and see who wins Best Game of the Year.
So yes, we're at it again. The absolute gall of these men.
They tried to stop us, boys. They tried to stop us.
We're doing a Game of the Year episode in spite of the fact that between the three of us, we've played maybe 15% of things that came out this year.
Yep.
But here we are.
The fact that we are, I think, maybe the only Game of the Year thing, full stop, the only Game of the Year thing that has games we wish we'd played.
Yes, yes.
I mean, we couldn't get more filthy or casual if we tried.
Yeah.
Like, this is a casual perspective on gaming.
Yeah.
A little left of center. If you
Yes, we've got a slightly askew view in here. You know,
I got a twisted take on things.
okay.
Burt Reynolds taught me that.
I'm damaged.
I like the normal game.
But yeah, so we do these every year. It's always a lot of fun. We are going to count down each of us our top 5 individual games of the year. We're also going to talk about a couple of other categories that we have that we've done for many, many years now. This essentially is an institution of this podcast at this point.
We've been going since 2002.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was your number one game that year?
It would have been Austin Powers Pinball.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
that was a fucking good game.
Oh, that was a great game, but I think mine was Austin Powers Pinball.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, what was yours? Do you remember yours?
Mine was Austin Powers condom machine in the men's toilets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah, cool.
Why doesn't that exist?
I
A
must.
branded condom machine.
yeah.
Groovy for her pleasure.
Yeah. That would be fucking cool.
yeah, man. That'd be cool.
It would.
It would be cool.
It would be cool.
It'd
right.
say Shagadelic on it.
Yeah.
Imagine if it didn't. If it didn't say Shagadelic, if it just had Austin Powers and he was like, buy one.
Just saying, yeah.
I bet it exists, but
No, baby.
I bet it exists, but in like a country where English is the second language, where it's just like a knock. So it's just like a picture of Austin Powers, and then no quotes affiliated with the movie
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah.
Sure.
Austin Powers Awesome Pounders.
Yeah,
You could call them that.
that's pretty cool.
Okay. Why?
That must exist because it rhymes. And if it's a condom machine, they're not going to put any more thought into it than that. Have you
Okay.
seen those things? They're always called like Jungle Scent. And it just says "rah" on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to smell like a fucking tiger or a warthog. Someone that lives in the jungle.
I haven't seen a lot of condom machines.
They're usually just the scent little wipes that you can get and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
You really only see them in like airports, and then I guess like small country town pubs.
Yeah.
Oh,
really?
sure,
It's really
okay.
the only two places
You've been
think you can see
frequenting
them.
both?
Yeah.
A fair bit.
Yeah, to fuck.
I think the last time I saw one was in the Cairns airport, which is kind of like a combination of those two things. Cairns and airport.
Very good.
My dad asked me over Christmas the question, who's that British man that's on the TV sometimes? And after a very, very lengthy...
Can I guess? Before,
Yeah, I'd love to guess.
Graham
I'd love-
Norton.
No, it's what we were just talking about. Austin Powers was what I
really?
eventually worked out
When's he
after
ever on the TV?
after a lengthy fucking process
Not-
of elimination.
I guess not Mike Myers either. It's got to be Austin Powers
Yeah.
because he's not always British.
I think I struck literally every single British showbiz person off the list before I went, all right, well, what about pretend British people that have somehow tricked my dad?
Wow.
Yeah. It was one of the worst interactions I've ever been in my life. And just to get to the point of then
Why was he
Austin
trying to-
Powers and him like, yeah, here. Anyway, the guy in the street I saw looked like him.
Oh,
you know what I mean? It was like to
great.
reference something in a story that the story itself didn't matter to begin with.
Yeah, it's never like, and it turned out he gave me $1 million to give to you.
yes. Fucking hell. But yeah, let's go through some of the other categories that we have
Yes.
before we get into our top 5. Do you want to start with games that we wish we'd played, games
Sure.
that came out this year that we didn't get around to, time willing, we might be able to play in the future. Although that being said, I think every time I've answered this in years past, I've never ended up getting to any of those games. So I'm just going to stop pretending. These are the games that I wish I had played this year, and I'm now deciding I literally will never end up playing in my entire life.
Yeah, until they come out on the Switch
Yes.
in 4 years' time.
Yeah. yeah.
So is this games we literally didn't play or games we didn't play enough of as well?
This is ones we didn't play.
At all?
Yep.
All right, well, can I kick us off?
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
mind if I just throw one in here right to begin with?
Go for
No.
it.
Well, I'd like to say to you, Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh, yeah.
That looked fucking awesome. The visual style was cool. You were enjoying it.
It's fantastic. It's a great game.
fun little puzzle mystery.
Yeah, yeah.
Never got around to the fucker.
It's great, and I do recommend playing it. Don't consign it to the graveyard like Tommy would.
It's dead like Burt Reynolds.
It's a great one, and yeah, get around to it.
It's PC and Xbox.
It's
I think it's just PC and maybe Mac as well.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it is on Mac. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Steam. Yeah, definitely
Right.
get it on Steam. Yeah, it's a great game. Good fun little adventure mystery game. Yeah.
Sick.
Awesome. One of mine would be Ni no Kuni 2. It sounded like fun, looked really cool. It's a real shame. It's a real shame.
I again would say give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is fun. It's very fun.
Let's rename this category Games Ben Played.
Yeah. Yeah. Ben did his job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you play Metal Gear Survive?
No, I did not.
Then motherfucker, I did a job this year.
I loved both those games I played. You, however.
I got a big list of don't likes. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll get round to that.
Yeah. I haven't. There's games that I definitely didn't play as much as I should have. Yakuza 6 is one that I played the opening like 5 minutes. So I'm going to count that as a game I did not play, really.
Yep.
But I have really liked the games of the series that I've played. And yeah, I definitely want to give that more of a shot. It's real
Right.
fun.
Yeah,
It's a fun,
I'm kind
silly
of
game.
waiting for those 3, 4, 5 remasters to come over here, so the whole lot's available, and just fucking burn through them and lose all of my work opportunities.
You should play Zero then.
Yeah, I will.
Just play Zero. That's
once
the first
they're
one.
all ready.
Oh no.
I'm not starting to eat the fucking peas before the carrots are ready.
Why not?
Also, how fucking long are they taking to prepare carrots?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
You need a whole meal in front of you before you'll take a single mouthful.
Exactly.
Okay. You're weird.
I need the pussy in front of me before I buy that Austin Powers condom. That's what he would have said.
That's true. It's what he would have said.
Yeah.
One of
Must be
mine,
in that British man from TV.
the British man from TV.
Definitely not
Graham
Graham Norton then.
Yeah. One of mine would be Assassin's Creed Odyssey because that sounded like a good time.
It's an
according to
okay
you
time.
fellas.
It's hard to recommend over other similarly big, time-consuming games because, like,
Yeah.
you really have played one. You played them all,
Yeah.
sort of.
Every Assassin's Creed game as well, especially these last two, I almost feel like saying, if you didn't play it at all, that's okay. Wait until the next one, and
Yeah.
it'll be a better version of the last one
Yeah,
anyway.
that's-
Yeah,
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
So-
definitely true of these last two because obviously they got worse for a little bit.
Yeah.
but they're good again. Yeah, I think that's a fair attitude to have.
Yeah. I think it just suffered from the time of year that it came out was a big part of me not feeling like investing in it. But it seemed like a good time. And it also seemed like a lot of the stuff that ended up pissing me off about some of the bigger games of the year, that this was just more of a simple kind of like, it's just a visually impressive open world that you can just fuck around and have fun in.
Yeah.
It did suffer from being out this year, though, where it was not the most interesting ancient Greek game, and then not the most interesting open world, do
Yes.
a whole bunch of side missions
Absolutely.
game.
Yep.
So, weird time for it to come out. As was the case with... I never played Into the Breach.
Yeah.
I heard lots of good shit about this.
It is very good.
No way you played this as well.
Yes, I have.
We talked about it on here.
Yeah,
Did we?
Yeah.
I saw Ben Russell posted like yesterday or today, like, I just played Into the Breach for the first time. I have to change my Game of the Year list.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It seems cool and maybe the sort of game that I wouldn't necessarily click with.
Well, I feel like I never clicked with it. It's a good game. I see how it's good. It's well made. It's made by the guys who did FTL, which was great. I clicked with that and I played it a fuckload.
So I never did with that, so maybe I'd be the other way around here.
Quite possibly, yeah. This is basically literally battle chess. You know, like you have a limited number of moves, but it is turn-based, grid-based. Figure out how to do this one properly in these many turns. It's kind of like your Mario plus Rabbids XCOM thing, but more simple.
Right.
Yeah.
It sounds all right.
People are loving it.
It kind of came out of nowhere too, right?
Yeah, yes.
Especially that Switch version, because FTL was only on the PC for years and years. And then eventually there was like an iPad version maybe.
Right.
Yeah, PC and Mac. It was Steam only for yonks. But yeah, Into the Breach...
I think it was like there was a Nindies Direct or something, and at the end they were like, "Oh, this is up now."
Yeah, you're right.
And it hadn't been announced or anything, and so people were like, "Oh, this is up there right now." Oh, and it's really, really good as well.
Because Into the Breach wasn't on Mac; it was only on PC, and I couldn't play it. And I was like, "Yeah, I'd loved FTL," but yeah, played it on Switch. It's I can see how it's divisive. It's like a strategy game. So
I like Advance Wars.
Yeah,
you'd probably like give it a go.
The visuals always reminded me of Advance Wars, but yeah, I guess I'll give that a go.
Give it a poke.
One day, before I go the way of the Reynolds, as they say. Do you have another one, Ben?
No.
You done?
I couldn't remember games I didn't play. I didn't play them.
I've got two more.
Or I did. I played a lot of games.
Do you have any more, Tommy?
No, I don't. Those are really the only two that I was like, oh, they just came out. They seemed like I would have had a lot of fun with them, and they just came out at the wrong time. Everything else that I scrolled through the list of games that came out this year is stuff that I didn't play. Where I'm like, I don't really care.
Like the Fire Emblem games and some of those. Yeah,
I got two more that I do want to get around to one day. Moss.
Oh yeah,
VR game with the little mouse.
I didn't play that.
And A Way Out. The co-op prison break game. Both of them seemed cool, but never got around to them.
We were excited about that coming out, and then I realised the other day I never heard anything about it after it came out.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone talk about playing it.
It popped up and got sort of reviews, but the reviews also, the things that they said were positive about it seemed to be things that I would like enough to counteract it. I've just never had the chance to sit down with someone else for 8+ hours and burn through it.
Oh, actually, sorry, I just remembered a game that I didn't play that I want to. We Happy Few.
Oh, yeah.
That game that was a sort of like survival, weird, open world 50s or like 1994 ripoff.
Yeah.
That became like a single player narrative game in development. I was into the style, and as soon as they made that change with what the game was, I was like, oh fuck, I want to play this, and I haven't played it yet. Yeah. So that's probably my big one. All right, well,
what's the game we most wanted to play? Who wins the category?
You've just reminded me about Into the Breach. Into the Breach has rocketed up to the top of mine.
Let's fuck with Into the Breach then. Congratulations, Into the Breach, for being the game that none of us played except for Ben, who didn't like you.
No, I thought you were fine.
Okay, medium from Ben, undecided from Adam and Tommy.
All right, well, let's then move on to the pile of shame. This is the stuff that we played a little bit of that, we feel like we were enjoying, but just whatever other stuff came along. Life got in the way.
Dude, or death got in the way. Burt Reynolds' pile of shame must be huge.
I think that's too many callbacks now. I think
until it gets to be too many that it's funny again.
Yeah, maybe.
If I keep saying it every 5 minutes,
okay.
We'll bring him back.
If I knew more things he was in, it would help. But it's like Boogie Nights and Smokey and the Bandit, I think.
Being the Ultimate Disaster movie.
Oh, yeah.
He has a cameo in that.
Right.
Okay.
He cries at Whistler's mother's speech that Rowan Atkinson does.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Rowan Atkinson as Mr. Bean.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
He doesn't break the fourth wall and go, I know Mr. Bean can't talk, but this is me, Rowan Atkinson,
me.
directly addressing you, the audience.
I'm a lot smarter than this. Some people refer to me as that other British man from the TV.
But there's no way of knowing, what nationality he is because he never speaks.
Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
Well, he goes, hello.
Yeah, that's British as fuck.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know.
No one's looking at that dude going like, you Dutch weirdo.
Yank over here is piping up.
But I mean, it's obvious that it's set in London, but I mean, maybe the reason that he's never talking is because he's from overseas and doesn't speak the language.
It's like a Borat figure.
Yes. Mute Borat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, there's a character.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Mr. Bean's a virgin?
No, he fucks. He has that girlfriend.
Teddy.
Yeah. There's that girl that he goes on dates with.
Yeah, he goes on dates with her, but like...
He never closed the deal.
No. Because one time she tries and he's like oblivious to it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He ain't put his head in that turkey.
Yeah.
All right, so...
Now we're back in a region we're much more familiar with. Mr. Bean jokes.
Well, can I start us off with one I think we all have on our list?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Maybe not Ben. Actually, Monster Hunter.
No, I played heaps of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not on mine because I played I played enough of it to go, oh, this is good, but it's just not really for me.
Right.
It's not like I feel like, oh, if I'd sunk more time into this, I would absolutely love it. I was like, this is cool and all, but I don't think it's the sort of thing that I'm ever really gonna super get on with.
Right. See, I wish I'd have sunk more time in it because I think I would have loved it.
Right.
Yeah.
But whatever. I
mean,
didn't. That's life.
I wish that I had more time to play it in the way that I wish I had more time to do anything that I like.
Especially anything that comes out prior to the end of April.
Yeah.
It tends to fucking skip our radars by the nature of stuff we do. So.
I would have played it for 50 hours, which is normal for me for any game. But I like to keep playing it. It's not. I wouldn't put it on my list of shame. I reckon I would.
Well, hang on, you're crackling a bit there. Yeah. You're all good now.
What I would put on my pile of shame would probably be Dragon Ball FighterZ. I reckon I played that for 3 days and liked it and didn't play it again.
It's a fucking good-ass game.
It's a fun fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's going on my I wish I'd played it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's good. I don't know. Like it's good.
Yeah, right?
I don't know if with any fighting game as well, if it doesn't immediately fucking take you in there, then it probably won't. And I think the aesthetic of it being so great too makes me want to like it more than I actually do. And it is a good game.
But
sure. I sort of still can't be fucked with it that much because the single player stuff in there isn't great.
Right.
Primarily. Like, I've been playing so much of Smash because there's so much good single player stuff in there. Same with Injustice. Every fighting game that I love.
Well, it came out on Switch near the end of the year, like a couple of months ago, and I was going to get it, and then I went, Smash is coming out. I'll just save myself for that if I'm going to play any fighting game.
It is. The aesthetic is so great, and I love the Dragon Ball universe. It looks like Dragon Ball Z, the cartoon. It really does. I guess you're right, though. I don't tend to love fighting games, but there have been ones like Injustice 2, which I did play a lot of, and I played all the way through the campaign and really, really liked it. I didn't do that with this.
The campaign bit isn't very good. It's fine, but it's not great. Oh my God. I'm getting real choked up here thinking about Dragon Ball. What could have been?
All right, Bert.
And,
does he sound like that? I don't really know who he is.
I know he has a moustache and that's about it.
All right, Stan Lee died as well.
Okay.
We can switch over to that one.
No, we can't just switch it. You can't just make a callback, something different in the middle of
Burt Reynolds was a rogue. He'd have done it. You don't know that about him, but it's true.
Smokey and the Bandit was Burt Reynolds and Stan Lee, right? That was that famous duo.
Burt Reynolds making a cameo in the Mr. Bean movie. Very Stan Lee of him.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
The king of the cameo.
If Burt Reynolds showed up in every Marvel movie just going like, I don't understand a goddamn thing that's going on here.
One of your kids grow up and do something real.
Bunch of goddamn nerds. Where's the car chase, huh? Dragon Ball's fine, but I think the dressing of it is maybe a little bit more appealing than the game itself.
I do love good dressing, though. I love a good dressing.
Yeah.
Bit of olive oil, bit of lemon.
Chuck some balsamic on there. You got yourself a salad.
I remember having a lot of fun playing that game, though. I remember that it was fun to do those fights. It's very gratifying to have the big, dumb charge moves and shit.
And if you've got the group to play a good fighting game with, then sick. I reckon it doesn't hold up in a single player way.
Yeah. Interesting call.
So my first one on my pile of shame. So I was trying to work it out today. I probably lost maybe 3 months of the year where I could have been playing games to a combination of bit of travel and then moving house, which all told was, a huge chunk of the year.
Yeah.
And so Far Cry 5, I barely touched. I played it for a little bit when it came out. It came out right at the very start of Comedy Festival, and I just didn't have time. And then almost immediately after that, I was getting ready to go overseas and then moved house and, just had all my stuff in storage for months. And then by the time I moved in here and everything unpacked, new stuff had come out and it just completely fell by the wayside. I mean, I played maybe, an hour of it or something.
Right.
I barely played any of it, and a lot of people really loved it. I liked what I was playing, but it just came out at the wrong time of the year for me, and then just I immediately had all this other unexpected life stuff kind of get in the way. Maybe I'll be able to get back to it, but it's a little, I don't know, it's kind of pretty overwhelming for how big it is. Like, those are the things that always end up being like, oh, I'll come back to that. And then you just never do because you know that it's just kind of such a commitment.
I kind of did go back around to it at some point during the year and loved it, and it's just missed out on being on my top bunch because I've just noticed I've written it in my notes as Fat Cry 5. My fifth Fat Cry of the year was pretty good. Not as good as some of my top 5. But Far Cry 5 is sick. I think it's maybe a bit much a lot of the time. Like, there's fucking shit shooting at you all the time.
I think that is how I felt with it initially. Yeah. But I basically only played that for weeks and weeks. Yeah. And I just sort of settled into it, learned to filter stuff out, literally turned off a lot of notifications and stuff on screen because it was overwhelming to start with. Yeah. That's definitely a fair criticism.
It's more just, it's the planes strafing you all the time. It's there always being a bear or a patrol or something just around the corner. And I think it doesn't give you quite enough room to breathe in the pretty cool world that it's made. Yeah. And it makes each of the individual encounters less interesting because it's non-stop fucking this huge bear charging at you isn't a big deal because it's this place is mainly bears.
Yeah.
So
I think I disagree. Maybe I just didn't find it as overwhelming. But a game that I'll be talking about again. Yeah.
Which region did you start in?
The normal guy one, John or something.
Bottom left?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Same region that I started. Yeah, it's just it's really throwing shit at you all the time.
It certainly does. Yeah.
I thought the intro was really great.
The game's fucking fun as hell.
Yeah. Another one of mine, that South Park RPG that came out on the Switch. I was playing a little bit of that on some flights and stuff. Enjoyed it. I should go back and finish it off because I was really, really liking it.
I did the same thing last year where I played half of it and then just went right, fuck off.
It is I get it, but I was having a lot of fun when I thought it was all done really well, and I liked the combat in it. I thought that the way that was done was really good. A lot of fun.
I had this with Stick of Truth, and I never went back to it, and I didn't play this. What is it? What is the butthole?
The fractured butthole.
The fractured butthole.
Yeah, didn't. Yeah, not gonna play it. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, Trey.
Probably one that I would be higher on my general list of games that I played this year because I ranked everything I played, and this is kind of towards the bottom. But Celeste, I didn't play much of.
Same.
And as such, I do not really like it.
I didn't finish it, and I think because it was so much, even if the extra stuff was cool and what it was about was cool and the way it did it was cool, it was one of those 2D pixel platformers, and I got real bored of that.
Yeah. I think that I do like 2D platformers, maybe not so much the pixel art style ones, but just didn't grab me. I didn't want an annoyingly difficult game at that point in time, maybe.
You can turn it down as well, which is cool of them. And like, I just wish I saw in it what a lot of other people do.
Yes.
Because some people fucking love it. And I really felt upper middle bogan about it.
I think I agree,
thought it was nothing.
Yeah, I don't necessarily... I don't think it's a bad game.
Yeah.
Or even a meh game. Like, I don't think it's middling. I think that it didn't jive with me.
Yeah.
What kind of games I like. But Celeste, I probably maybe owed it a bit more of my time.
Same. I think if I'd have finished it, I'd feel differently maybe, or gotten through more. I got to like the Ghost Hotel or something and was like...
Right.
Okay. I played like 3 hours of it.
No comment. But similar to that for me is The Messenger. I thought that looked really cool when it got announced and everything. I have played a couple of hours of it. I can see that it's really good. It just hasn't quite hooked me in the way that, some people absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's got some DLC coming out soon. I think it's got a very interesting kind of hook behind it. And it's all very tight and very pixely, but it's kind of, for me, all the same stuff you were saying about Celeste. For you, where it didn't, a bit samey and a bit everything, and I do think it is good, but I just never got to that point where I was like, okay, I'm going to sit up all night playing this now.
Right.
Even though I think I would like to put more time into it at some stage, because I think it's doing a lot of good stuff.
Dragon Quest 11.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I'd have played more of that.
Okay.
Because it was nice. It just was... and it looks beautiful and it's relaxing, and it just got to the point where it's big enough that I couldn't do it at the time, you know?
Yep.
A lot like a certain thing I've seen inside of an Austin Powers O behave lately.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's cool and I want to do that one day.
Yep. Okami HD, even though I've played a fair bit of it, I wish I had have finished it because I'm really, really enjoying it, and I think it's great.
I think a lot of the purpose of this segment, I've just realized as well, is to make people realize, like, yeah, we didn't say Into the Breach is the game of the year. We didn't play it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So we're getting that out of the way.
Yes.
I don't know why I just suddenly got angry.
Yeah.
I imagined an
You're just
invisible
foreseeing
person.
the Facebook comments in the future, like, oh, don't you understand? We're not professionals.
We should,
What could I have done to make myself seem less professional?
Speaking of which, when we were organising this recording session, it was last week, and we were all, it was like 1 a.m, and we'd all been drinking, and we were just screaming at each other for like an hour. We were at the bar with mates, and for some reason, it was just very run-of-the-mill. Oh, so we'll do this, and then we'll do that. We'll meet at 4:30. But we were just yelling at each other.
Yeah, I don't know why we were doing that.
I don't know why it was such an angry conversation.
No.
And we all had the same idea about... The idea was...
We're in furious agreement.
Yeah. It was so... Getting up and remembering it the next day, I was like, that's so bizarre. Why did we all do that?
The idea as well was, let's record on Thursday.
Yes. Fuck.
Any more?
No, I reckon that's enough.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Enough.
I got one more. I wish I'd have played electric guitar as a kid. Because by now I'd be pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And I'd probably be able to make something of it.
Wish I played piano as a kid. Same
Good.
reason.
Piano's good.
I wish I'd have played the stock market.
Yeah, nice.
Not a great instrument, but all right. And I guess Tetris Effect.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go biggest surprise of the year? Yeah, that was it.
I'd say Burt Reynolds' death really hit me. His great work in Smokey and the Bandit.
Yep.
Norm Macdonald's impression of it.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep.
Bean, the ultimate disaster movie.
And Boogie Nights, the best one.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, Boogie Nights would be his best.
I didn't... maybe... yeah, all right. I got a winner for me.
Okay.
Black Ops 4.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's surprising that was any good.
Yeah. Everything sort of running up to it sounded like, oh, they've run out of time to make this. They don't know where they're going with it.
They've run out of ideas, so they've stolen one off someone else.
They're tacking on this mode.
Yep.
It ended up being the best version of that mode that I've played. Really, really fun battle royale thing in that. And that's to the point where there's now a version you can buy that's just that and the regular multiplayer for cheaper.
Right.
They cut out the zombies thing.
Right.
The regular multiplayer is the best it's been in ages. It was surprising to me that I didn't miss the campaign at all.
Yep.
And yeah, that fucking Battle Royale, what's it called? Blackout in Black Ops 4 is really good.
Would you say Battle Royale is your favorite thing with the initials BR?
I would probably say... I can't think of anything I can say.
Why not? You can't think of butt rub?
It sounded close, but it's a really surprising that it's as good of a quality as it is.
Yeah.
After I saw that the fucking logo was for like tally marks rather than IV, it's amazing that bullshit game where everyone's like hoorah is really good.
You were playing it in the way that you were like putting yourself on the line for this podcast.
Yeah.
You were like,
the last
I'll do it because I guess we should talk about it, but...
I ended up loving it. It's great. It just missed out on being in the top things as well.
Wow.
Based purely on that Battle Royale mode.
This game is not a game that I rated very highly in terms of the games that I played this year, but for the switch that happened to my experience of it about 3 hours into playing it, to being like, oh, this is a really fun, dumb experience that I'm loving, was Detroit Become Human.
Okay.
Because I started playing that game and I was like, this is the most tedious game that I've ever played.
You're a real take no prisoners sort of, because I remember last week you're like, Katamari Damacy is the worst experience I've ever had.
Yes.
Detroit Become Human is one of the most tedious.
The most tedious, Now, what we're learning about Ben is tedious doesn't always qualify it for the worst.
No. I mean, if that was
tedium can be good.
If that was true, I would hate myself more than I do.
Woo!
Baby.
TDM is my favorite type of boring electronic music.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's very nice. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Austin Powers condoms all round. That's just a pointless callback that Reynolds died.
Fuck. Yeah, I thought I was going to hate playing that, and I almost tapped out entirely. And then it got fucking stupid, and I loved it. It was like a bad movie that you were directing. Yeah. And what my favorite surprise of this year in gaming.
I haven't played even 1 second of it, but listening to you guys talk about it was one of my favorite gaming experiences of the year.
Sure.
It was great to hear about without having gone anywhere near it. Biggest, so I've got two.
Okay.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
It's well documented on this show that with everything I saw about it, I was pretty skeptical. I kind of thought it didn't really, I don't know, the bits that they were showing off of it in the lead up to it didn't really strike me as looking that interesting, because they showed off that initial trailer that was just, everyone's like, how good does this look? And I was like, this is all a cinematic. Like, this doesn't show anything. And then, ended up really, really, really loving it, having a lot of fun with it. My other big surprise, Kirby Star Allies, which I loved. I ripped through it in about just over a week, week or a week and a half or something. I just thought, I'll play this for the show, and then the ending of it was particularly great. A lot of fun, not taxing, not challenging, but just very well designed and colourful and bright and fun variety of levels, and just a fun platformer to just sink a few easy hours into. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I would play an hour of it and then abandon it, but I found it easily finished the whole thing.
Do you think you liked it so much because you are an ally to the stars?
Interesting.
Ooh. Just because you were saying how much you thought it was brave of Kevin Spacey to put that video out.
Yes. I mean, I do think that is... I
think it's the bravest thing that I've seen someone do this year.
I agree.
Doesn't mean that I think it's good.
Exactly, I agree. You, objectively, it is a brave move. To do one of the stupidest things of all time takes real guts.
Well, maybe we should talk about this on a different format of this show.
Yes.
Because I have some things to say, but fuck me
man.
dead. What?
It's good
the
shit.
Hell?
It's good fucking shit.
Biggest surprise of the year.
It really... Yeah.
The unimpeachable comeback of Kevin Spacey.
Should we plug that other format now, since we've hinted at it just quickly? So the Patreon is changing.
We're
going to
exclusively do 2 camera pieces in character, absolving ourselves of any wrongdoing.
Yeah. So we used to do one ep a month that was like a book club thing where we would talk about one specific game and people could play along with it. And we kind of, with that format for a number of reasons, was sort of drifted away from it being sort of, too much of what it was meant to be, and for whatever reason, we've decided to change it, and it's now going to be you will get an extra episode every week that will be us talking about whatever. Yes. It won't be video games, but it will be maybe movies or TV or music, or maybe it'll just be fucking around. But it'll be a place to talk about other pop culture stuff.
Or maybe sometimes it will be video games.
Yeah,
like so it could be maybe a game that we just don't think is worth talking about on the regular show because maybe there's too much new shit out.
Or it's really, or like maybe if we would do that spoiler of Red Dead episode, it might be on there.
Yep.
Or it'll just be same format-ish as this show, but about other things that we like.
Yeah. It's it's going to be us fucking around for an extra half hour-ish after we record the main ep every week.
Yeah.
So we'll do other shit. Yeah, we'll dick around and we'll talk about other pop culture sort of stuff and whatever. And you guys are welcome to suggest
anti-culture. Things that aunties might like.
Yep.
Like that joke.
Wine coolers.
Mrs. Brown's boys.
Your uncle.
Being
sucking
good after
your uncle's
divorce.
dick.
Actually being pretty happy about it and pretty independent now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've got 3 cats, but they love me.
Actually, they're pretty good. Do you have any cats? No? Well, you can't have mine because they're all I've got. After Burt Reynolds died.
Oh, no. If you don't know anything about the Patreon, the kind of setup now is you pay $5 a month and you get access to the private Facebook group, which is really fun. We're in there every day.
Yep.
It's a little forum about video games and stuff. $10, you used to get one free episode a month. And $20, I think you get all of our Bandcamp stuff that we've ever released and all future ones for free.
Yeah, and everything else below.
And everything else below, of course.
Patreon works.
So the change is basically going from monthly to weekly. It's like a whole new show.
Yep. Yeah.
If that sounds cool, jump on board. We'd love to have you.
Yep. That'll be that's starting pretty much now.
Yes.
Yeah, in the next week.
Yep.
Anyway, where were we? Yes, Adam. In answer to your question, a big part of the reason why I liked Kirby Star Allies is because I consider myself to be an ally to the stars.
God, thank God you answered that. Because my anxiety was going off the charts. Gotta close the loop, boys.
Any other?
Those
what do you guys
those
got?
are the surprises. We did one each, right?
Yep, at least one
cool.
each. Yeah,
cool. Letdown of the year. For me,
breakup.
God.
Were you let down by it as a breakup? Or did it feel like as a breakup, judged on the merits of how a breakup should go, seems like it was pretty textbook.
You would love it because you would love it. Your opinion would have been, look, it's meant to be bad. And they did they followed through on what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
The design of
They
it.
weren't trying to make it enjoyable.
The intention was.
Yeah, exactly. I stand by that as a statement.
Biggest letdown.
For me, it's Mario Tennis Aces. That was one of my most anticipated games of the year.
Right.
Yep.
I still fuck with it a little bit, but it's definitely not. It didn't even come close to what I was hoping it would be. That story mode, especially. I still think the rest of what's there is like fine, and they're rolling out more stuff for it, which is cool. And I don't think it tanked. Like, I think it's done fine, but it was just personally what I wanted out of the game. It did not do it for me.
I completely agree. I think in terms of like where I've ranked everything I've played versus how excited I was for it, it's by far my most disappointing game of the year. By far.
Yeah. I wasn't that excited for it and didn't like it that much. So it was pretty on the level for me.
Yeah.
What about yours, Ben?
That is it.
Oh, what? Return service.
I'm both agreeing and entering it in the records as my most disappointing game of the year.
I mean, I fucking hated Metal Gear Survive, but I didn't think it'd be good.
Didn't feel let down by it.
It's not disappointing.
No.
I'm going to do like... None of us really played Fallout 76, but again, I don't think any of us thought that'd be good.
No. I guess you could say the letdown side of it would be when they were sort of showing off, before they'd sort of said what it was, and they were kind of teasing things of like, oh, here's a new Fallout, and it looked like it could be something really fun. And then when they eventually said, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah. I think that's probably true. If you go back and listen to all the things that I said I was excited for, it's probably Fallout 76 and Mario Tennis Aces, where it was like outside of things that I knew were going to be good.
Yeah.
And within a week, my dreams were crushed.
I thought Shadow of the Tomb Raider was pretty bad.
Right.
Interesting take.
And I didn't really like the first two.
No, you didn't at all.
But then the third one was way worse than them.
Okay. It is not as good, yeah.
I've just written down some games that weren't that good here. I'm going to go through them.
Okay.
The Dark Souls remaster was not great.
Okay.
That was sort of disappointing, but it's
what do you think
fine.
that was about it that wasn't great?
It was just...
Does it not hold up?
Really bare, and it felt off. I don't really know how to put it into words, but it just didn't feel right. Bits of it looked wrong.
Okay.
So it wasn't right and it was wrong.
Yeah, but like...
Interesting.
And also...
I'm going to bring this thing up on the podcast that I have no words to describe how I feel about it.
I mean, purely in the look of it, I don't know technically what it was that did it, but it just looked wrong. You know, when you see like the Russian version of a cartoon, you're like, that's not Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And it also like...
You're watching Huckleberry Hound?
The thing with Dark Souls at the time was the community around and everyone finding out all the shit, and you can't redo that.
Yeah.
And then it also just fell flat anyway. Nobody was really playing it in the same way. So, yeah, it was just a bit of a...
It seemed like no one cared.
Yeah.
When it got announced, and especially the fact that it was coming to the Switch, people were like, oh, wow, being able to play it on the go.
Yeah.
But then again, it's one of those other ones where I haven't heard anyone talk about playing it or...
I think that game might have just been lightning in a bottle at the time.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it came out, and then there were sequels and different kinds of game... Or different games that use the same style.
It's morphed into a different thing.
Yeah. Well, it's just moved on, Like, the same people that loved it are playing Bloodborne now.
So the opportunity to try and bring it back and modernize it was squandered.
Yeah,
I guess is
sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Also maybe unnecessary anyway.
Exactly. A couple that I know... I think you like Donut County, right?
So I just started playing it over Christmas.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot.
I heard so much about how charming and funny and stuff it was, and I didn't really enjoy it.
I remember your complaint of it being the language was very, like, lol-catty, or however you want to sum it up.
Like a principal trying to pretend to be a teenager to catch someone who's being tardy or whatever.
I'm not finding that at all.
Being what?
Tardy. Late.
Okay.
Late for a class.
Sure.
And they're on a chat.
No, I just wanted to have that isolated.
Yeah. Now that was brave.
Do you want me to re-say it? And also Minute. I really didn't like Minute.
Yeah.
These are both games that I didn't play because I thought I probably wouldn't click with them.
Yeah, those were a couple that were like loved by a bunch of people for their like quick, and they didn't hit me.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Donut County a lot.
Yeah, right.
And you liked Minute, didn't you?
I did like Minute, but that said, I played a bunch of it on a plane and then have never gone back to it. So I liked it in that isolated big chunk that I played in, but not enough to ever go, oh, I've got to now pick this up while I'm at home.
If we're going by like stuff on a plane, then Game Night is my favorite movie of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
And it might be. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's great. It's
anyway,
a good movie.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about disappointing stuff anymore, like the untimely death of Burt Reynolds.
Do we want to do the one we've done for, I think it might be a staple of this, the Stones on This Guy award?
Yes.
Yes.
I certainly have a certain awards night.
Oh, okay.
I have a very separate nomination, but let's go with your one first.
I mean, I had it on there purely because I thought we should have won, and I'm so annoyed, and I can't believe the Stones on those guys for not awarding us Games Publication of the Year or whatever it was.
I don't think we should have won.
Okay.
Biggest surprise would have been winning that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd been great. Imagine how much different our lives would be now.
Dude.
No different at all.
I'd be swimming in Austin Powers condoms.
Yeah.
Bethesda's whole response to everything falling apart with Fallout 76, the absolute stones on them every step of the way.
Yep.
Before the game comes out, they released a letter saying, hey, this game's going to be fucked. The game comes out and it's fucked.
Yeah.
And then they release a thing saying like, hey, the game's fucked.
Yeah, come with us on this fucked journey.
Yeah.
Here's 500 points in our fucking online store. Not everything's free. Here's 500 points, which is equivalent like $1 or something. Then those bags coming out and being the fucking nylon things rather than the canvas bags they were meant to be.
Yeah.
Them saying, oh, okay, we'll get you the canvas ones, I guess. Here's 500 more points. Please wait 4 to 6 months. And then on their 4 to 6 month letter, it says that Fallout please stand by thing.
Oh,
Them trying to be fun while it's
Yeah.
like, we didn't give you the thing that we said you could have for fucking $200 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then their fucking game is so bad that it accidentally releases the names, addresses, and phone numbers of a whole bunch of people. And them just saying like, whoops, we're looking into this. Fuck off.
Even the very first step of that, like having the beta and it being, and them going like, it's going to be fucked, but trying to frame it as like, you're actually pretty lucky that you get to come on this, that you get to be a part of this, that you get to see it in this way.
You're all interns for Bethesda now.
Yeah.
Bringing Andrew WK out at your big fucking E3 thing.
Oh, that was my favourite surprise of the year.
That was
the
pretty
absolute stones.
great. Yeah. Well, speaking of E3, I think PlayStation...
Also, sorry, just one more thing they did.
Okay.
Knowing their E3 thing was bad enough that they had to say, and one day we'll make another Elder Scrolls.
That's big stones.
Crazy motherfucking stones. And everyone fucking buying it. Whatever.
Yep.
Sony saying that they're not going to be at E3 next year. That's some stones.
That's stony.
I reckon. It's interesting and it's cool. In a lot of ways, it's cool, but that is still big stones.
That is a huge move. Yeah, we have to see if that one pays off or not.
Yeah.
Because if they launch... I mean, they have their own sort of thing, don't they, already?
Yeah.
Some Sony conference
Maybe
thing?
they didn't do it this year, I think.
But yeah, if they switch to Nintendo style and it works and they have shit to announce, it could be a good move.
Hey, having big stones doesn't always have to be a bad thing. It can pay off in the positive.
Burt Reynolds has stones the size of a moon each.
Yeah, you should have got those removed.
Yeah, that was the problem.
That was the issue. I actually had another one. The Telltale Games collapse.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they didn't manage their company properly in a financial sense, and then all these people get fired. These games never get finished. I liked them as well.
Two games into a series of 4 for them to just go like, well, we're out of money.
Hey, can you finish this for us?
You're right. It does take big stones to fuck up the management of a company.
Yeah. Again, it's like someone laying it all on the line and then they're not paying it off.
But just still taking on jobs, and then like, imagine you're a builder. You're like, yeah, I'll build you 3 more buildings. Then halfway through building one deck, you're like, well, I'm out of money.
Yeah.
See you later.
I just ran out of nails, guys.
Someone filing for bankruptcy and being like, boy, the cojones on me to be doing this.
But yeah, the continued mismanagement of like people's lives and careers.
And the way it sounds like their attitude was about it to be like, more, we can get out there, get more.
Yeah.
What's Lego doing?
Yeah, all we have to do is overextend ourselves. And this will,
Let's get out there. Who wants to make the Breaking Bad 5-part Telltale series? It's Big Bang Theory by Telltale.
So yeah, some big stones there. I think. Who does it go to? Who's got the biggest stones of the year? I think I'd sort of forgotten all that. I think it has to be Bethesda.
Yeah,
I think Bethesda
that is
had
just
some
piles
fucking
up.
stones.
Those stones become a mountain.
Yeah,
it's a mountain of stones.
That mountain, you can climb that mountain.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing they used to say.
In isolation, not the biggest thing, but it coming off the back of the whole thing being broken. The bag is outrageous.
Well, just
that's so funny.
Every move along the way,
Yeah.
just going like, hey, you still love us.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of something to get you through it. But deep down, we're the best company out there making games today.
Yeah.
Says 0 of the proof.
Yeah. Boy, we're on thin ice here. Better not accidentally push this button that releases everyone's fucking personal information.
Yeah.
I don't think you said better not accidentally, so I'll push it. All right.
Oh, whoops, this has backfired. Okay, do we want to get into our honourable mentions?
So these are the games that we liked.
that didn't quite make the list for whatever reason. For me, a lot of them are, even if it's like a remaster or a port or whatever that came out this year, my kind of rule is it has to have originally come out this year.
Yes.
So I kind of immediately exclude anything that, even if I played it for the first time on Switch or I played the remaster for the first time or whatever it is, it can't go into the top 5. Mm-hmm. So my first and biggest honourable mention is Owlboy. And if that had originally come out in this year, it would have been in my top 5 easily.
Right.
I adored that game. I loved everything about it. The writing, the characters, the presentation, the gameplay. It all just like... I said this when I reviewed it, but like... one of those things that feels like someone has just made it for you because it touches on so many of the things that you specifically remember loving about playing games as a kid from that era.
I want more owls.
Evoking. Yeah, I want to be an owl.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
Great call.
Excellent.
I think I went through like a Wikipedia list of games, I guess, that were released this year, and it maybe didn't include remasters, so there's probably a bunch of them that I just flat out have not remembered I played.
Mm-hmm. The Wikipedia one does have ones that came out on any platform this year.
Maybe I just personally excluded them.
Well, like for example, I guess now the top of my honorable mentions is Hollow Knight.
Right.
Because that originally came out last year, but fuck me, that's a game.
That's on mine as well. And again, another one that would be on the top 5 where it's something that I deemed eligible. What a game. What a great game.
Was DK Tropical Freeze re-released this year?
Yeah.
That's up there as well.
Yeah.
We can now have whole lists of remastered releases.
Yeah,
totally.
For sure.
Man, with the Switch especially, but Hollow Knight is I haven't played that well made of a game by such a small team.
Yeah.
I think it's my favorite indie game that's ever been made.
I think it'll be one of those games that people talk about for basically ever.
It's nuts.
I think it'll hold up for as long as possible.
Looks incredible. It plays so well. It's so inventive the whole way through. Every time you think you're sick of it, it gives you just something a bit new, or there's somewhere to go, or there's a new thing where you're like, oh fuck, that weird jump I couldn't make. Now I can do it.
You hunt around in areas for ages trying to find where you're meant to go or the right thing, and you just are so... You know those areas by the back of your hand, and that feeling of all of a sudden, oh fuck, I'm in a brand new bit now that's just opened up, and now I've got all this new terrain to explore. Is
the boss
just thrilling.
Fights, I think, were perfect in their how hard they were versus how doable they were.
Yep,
it's doable, like sexy, like fine.
Yeah, I want to fuck all the bosses in that game.
Nice.
If I could fuck.
It's an HR issue.
The Hollow Knight.
Yeah?
And there's a lot of room inside of that knight.
Okay.
He is hollow.
Yep.
Then I wouldn't.
No.
Because he'd kill me.
Yeah.
But
it does so much with so little too, in terms of the making you believe the world that it's set in and everything, and the kind of the mood that it evokes. It's such a simple art style, but you just believe this whole kind of underground city really exists, and the way they all connect. The way all the areas connect to each other, and
and it's Dark Souls through and through, because there's 20 characters that you meet, and every one of them has a weird personality and doesn't do heaps, but just adds something to it and has their just their strange thing. There's some sense of humor in it at points as well. That I really liked.
The way the fast travel system is done is a great example of both of those things. It being a little train tunnel network that is a giant beetle who drives you around, instead of it just being push a button and you get to go to wherever on the map.
And then ends up really having this quite sad story attached to him during it that you making the fucking fast travel system have a touching story is cool as hell.
And all those bits of the lore that are in the world are kind of there for you to find. You very easily, there's no cutscenes and there's no text at the start really or anything like that. It doesn't interject with things. It's just there for you to find by talking to people and reading signs and stuff. You slowly piece it together, which makes it all the more rewarding when you do that, because you've kind of had to find those locations where those things are, and take the time to actually do it and take it in.
Well, speaking of games that don't hold you by the hand, have an incredibly cohesive style, have an effective mood, and are good, Return of the Obra Dinn is one of my, probably is the top of my list of honorable mentions.
Right.
It is this crazy, early 90s, Apple Mac 2 visual style, but and it also has that kind of weird, mysterious vibe that games used to have.
Yeah.
Like, especially adventure games where you literally don't know what to do or what's happening next.
Yep.
And you also don't know how games work or how the technology that you're using works.
And your uncle lost the manual, so you don't...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is a game where it benefits from having a piece of paper and a pencil and taking down notes, and you have to actually remember your stuff. Remember stuff yourself. Like, it doesn't hold your hand, and you get to solve a mystery. And it's a fantastic game that I want to devote more time to, because you take all of that and you need time and mental capacity to devote to it.
Right.
And that's going to be like a little summer reading game where I'm going to, finish
little
it off.
summer fling.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But yeah, it's
just be careful of that cord. It's doing it again.
We're uploading this episode immediately after we record it too.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say now, both of those times are in there.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yes,
People can hear
sweet.
the cracks. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I got nothing to hide.
Yeah, they hear the cracks in my mental fragility.
Yeah.
Leave the cracks in my cord.
Yeah.
The commitment that you said that sentence with, they can hear the...
Oh, yeah, that's not a tech issue. That's Ben's voice breaking as he's talking. I love this game.
But I do love this game, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
I should give it a go.
You're looking forward to the return of the Obra Dinn, are you?
That's very good.
Is that what you're looking forward to, you motherfucker?
Yes.
Another big one for me, Yoku's Island Express. A game that, it kind of came out of nowhere for me. A little platformer crossed with a pinball game. So unique, so original. Something that I just, blazed through because I was just loving it so much. And the whole, the character design and the design of the world and everything. Very effective, very cute, very charming. Super fun. Just a great sort of different approach to a platformer, and plus a great pinball game.
Totally. I really like that game. This is a game that is kind of further down my list, more because it's a little flimsy maybe. Like, there's not heaps going on.
Yeah.
It's basically just like platform pinball, and that's it.
Yes. Yes.
But I like it, and it's one of the games that I can see someone else liking a lot more if it just really clicks with their taste.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really fun game.
I'm going to throw Nier Automata for the Xbox One out here. It came out on the Xbox One. I played it last year, didn't include it on my list.
Yep.
Because I hadn't finished it at the time, and I was wrong. If this was eligible in my head for best game, it would be number 3. But it's still very fucking good.
Yeah, right. I do remember us having a conversation 2 weeks after last year's Game of the Year episode.
I fucked it.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Ben, you talk into my mic. Yes? I'm going to change your cord over.
Okay.
All right. I've finally, my dream of having the floor to talk about Nier Automata.
Go for it. Go off, King.
It's the fucking, everything Kojima thinks he is.
Yeah.
This game actually is.
Yes. And that's coming from a Kojima fan.
I love Kojima.
Yeah.
That for all his faults. Kojima's about 5 years away from putting out a Kevin Spacey video. But this game is just so inventive and heartfelt and ridiculous and stupid and bad and great and fun and repetitive.
Bad, so
but it is. But it adds to it weirdly.
That's so weird.
It's the weirdest game, but everything makes sense in it and it sucks you into its weirdness.
I'm still where you were at last year's Game of the Year episode.
Yeah, right. No.
But I just haven't played enough of it to get to that point.
And it's crazy that the first 15 hours of it become amazing after you've had the last 20 after that or whatever it is. You need the entire context of this game to appreciate the whole thing. It's insane. It's a unique and really kind of beautiful game, and I think it's like a genuine work of art and also embarrassing as hell.
Right.
But the fact that the guy's like Kojima, because someone asked him how come all the female characters are wearing these tiny skirts? He's like, first of all, they're androids. Second of all, it's hot.
God.
So all right, I guess.
Right.
I guess I can't fault you on your honesty.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
a genius.
That's a holdover of the pile of shame for me from last year. That again is sitting there for me to go into.
It's great
this year,
and it's now available on every platform except the Switch. So everyone can get it, unless you've just got a Switch like a freak.
Shout out to me for just changing the chord over pit crew style while that was all still going on. We didn't even have to interrupt the flow.
Very subtly.
Nobody even heard them.
One of mine, I think Bayonetta 2, I really liked. And a recent addition as of last night, Katamari Damacy reroll. So we talked about it last week on the show.
Wrong.
I thought it was like pretty good, but it hadn't quite clicked with me yet. And then I played it heaps over Christmas and just like changed the controls for one. They clicked with me, and then I got up to the bit of it where it does start to get really, really fun. Because I think kind of a flaw of it is that it starts you off in these very narrow little areas where you're rolling up stuff and you're kind of in a living room. So it is very boxy and it is very hard to get around. And about 4 levels in, you end up outside rolling around towns. So it's more open. There's less things for you to bump into. And by the end of it, you are starting off in levels where you are getting you can get bowled over by a mouse, and by the end of the level you are rolling up mountains and skyscrapers, and it's so fucking satisfying to go from those two extremes in the space of 20 minutes, watching this ball gradually go and get bigger, the point that it gets to where you can roll up people and then on top of that buildings, and then be just Godzilla style, just rolling around and destroying a whole city is just some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in a video game. So fun.
The lesson there.
Yes.
If you're ever feeling bad, get outside of the house.
Go roll some mountains.
Take yourself for a walk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. I finished it over the last 4 days.
Wow.
And yeah, such a great, weird game that, a lot of fun. And I'm really glad I kind of like pushed myself to put that little extra bit of playtime in, because as soon as I went back in after talking about it on this, it was the moment that it all kind of, clicked for me.
Well, I played it for 6 minutes and didn't like it. A game that I have still on my honourable mentions list, but I probably will take off. I'm going to mention why. It's Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Right.
It's I loved the first two, and I was enjoying this. I think it's a very well done third-person action game. It's not, creating any brand new, formats of gaming. It's not an amazing story or anything. It's just a good, solid game with fun stealth gameplay. And then I got to a point in the story, and I don't think anyone will care about spoilers, but if you do, tune out now.
Probably for the rest of the podcast, there will be spoilers too. When we get into these top 5, we're probably going to talk about them real openly.
Kind of have to.
I think that's the nature of it. So if you haven't finished something that you think we'll talk about, hey, reader beware. You're in for a scare.
There's a point in the story where you confront a villain, and the villain is like, I killed your dad. I killed him because he was going to reveal this ancient hidden tribe to the world, and they were going to come here and they were going to plunder this tribe and fuck with these people's lives. And I didn't want him to do it. Okay? I didn't want him to do it. It was one life versus thousands of lives. And that's why I killed Tomb Raider's dad.
Yeah.
And Tomb Raider is like, how could you do that?
Tom Raider.
Yeah, sure. Indiana Jones.
Thomas Raider. Oh, yeah, Indy.
Yeah. And she's like, how could you do that? He was the world to me. And the villain's like, yeah, but like it's literally the world to thousands of people.
Yeah.
You can't think that your dad means more in the context of the whole world than a village full of people. And she was like, yes, I do. And then the story continues, and you're supposed to still think this guy is the villain and she is the hero.
It's weird. They do this like half like, whoa, look at the things Lara's done. There's like one scene in particular in that like oil refinery or whatever.
Yes.
Where she's like going nuts and shooting people and coming out of the sea like fucking Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen in fucking Apocalypse Now.
Or Platoon. Charlie Sheen's in that.
So, and it's like this weird fucking Vegemite thin spread of like, she's killed a lot of people, hasn't she?
But that's like the villain says, like, I killed one guy to save thousands. You've killed thousands of people for no reason.
He's also killed heaps of people too, though.
Yeah, but
like
it's just
the story's just bad. I think is the issue.
Sure, yeah. I think though when it's like, hey, we're saying like your hero is saying, no, I would have let all this village of people get fucked over by society.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care about her anymore.
Yeah.
I care about neither of them. You're right. It's
Yeah.
like, what? Who gives a fuck now?
I think they really rely on the idea of like, well, Lara's the main character.
Yes, sure.
And then just kind of go nowhere with the story. The dialogue like stops happening towards the end as well. Like they visibly run out of money at some point, which isn't necessarily their fault, but it just means it ends on this flat fucking just who gives a shit.
Yeah.
But the whole the story, especially in that, I thought was just really all over the place. And
I think there was a lot of wasted opportunities too, because there's like a lot of religious imagery and themes, which can be a nice little dressing to a fun adventure story. See Indiana Jones, but I think it was just a waste. And that was the moment where I was like, no, fuck this game.
Those couple of leader characters of the tribe as well, like the general lady, I can't remember if she's a general, and her son, are just like, they have that weird vibe to them when someone's more of a mechanical gear for the plot, where you're just like, why are you making the decisions that you're making?
Yes.
You're the strangest person just accepting this fucking stranger in because she's got a blue top. Like, that's the Tomb Raider shirt. Welcome aboard.
Totally.
Totally. It's very poorly written.
So what I will have instead is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay.
Yeah. The honorable mention, great game, a lot of fun, enjoying it, still playing it, good game.
Yep. That's all of my honourable boys.
I got 3 more.
Yeah, I got a few more.
Maybe 4. I've got to have 4 because I've got 6 top 5 now. Fuck.
You asked us if you were allowed to do that, and we said no.
Yeah, I know, but you didn't give any reasoning. So if you don't show you're working, it's not a real answer.
Well, the reason is because we said it's a top 5,
and we've had to do it.
And
then I'm gonna pick. Then I'm gonna give the honorable mention to Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's one of mine as well.
It's in one of mine. It's in mine. If I had a 6th place on my list, it would be tied with Spider-Man and Yoku.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a really fucking fun story. I think I haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, which is getting a lot of good reviews, but it's my favorite Spider-Man thing I've seen or read.
I agree.
I think it's really just, it takes that comic book fun vibe and does a big budget interpretation of that way better than any of the movies.
Yep.
Way better than any of the cartoons and shit that I've seen. It's just a good time. It's a Batman Arkham clone.
Sure. Yeah.
Straight up. But it's a pretty good one. It looks incredible.
It does look amazing, yeah. The cityscapes are cool.
Yeah.
It was really close to being in my top 5, and ultimately I think
that's a bit of a clue to what replaced it.
It's a great open world, and it's got great combat in an open world, which you don't always see. But ultimately, I think there was sort of like what you were saying about, I can't remember what it was, but something earlier. There's a better open world, and there's a better combat-based thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it kind of comes off sort of second best in both of those areas.
Totally.
To these 2 games. Even though at a lot of points, I think it is perhaps more fun than bits of those games.
Yeah, I loved it for like the 12 to 15 hours or whatever that I played and finished it for, and I never want to play it again.
Yeah.
Sure. I went back and played it yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't like the combat.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the story. But boy, it's fun to swing around, and it's on the bottom edge of my honorable mentions. Right. But it's genuinely incredibly fun to swing around.
It is, city. And I liked the story, and I thought the fucking way it looked and everything. The Mary Jane segments were a little like, I hate it when any game does it, where it's like, no, you don't have any fucking powers, and you've got to wait for the guard to move.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the problem with it, in terms of it, in any other year, probably it would have gotten in there, maybe. But I think it's great and it's really fun. It's just not an achievement in the way that other stuff that is on my list is, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. The fact that it was in your best surprise one as well, for me, it was the most this is what I thought it would be game. Maybe a little better than I thought. But
right, and for me, it's a little worse than I thought.
So
but
paint
only
by
a little.
numbers in a lot of ways. But then the bits that were fun were really fun. And it was just, you feel good for the guy.
Yeah.
You really like the guy.
He's a real plucky little hero, isn't he?
Next time you come around, kid, give me a call. Because I reckon Spider-Man 2 might be a lot of fun. Right now, though, Fuck off.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is in there for me. Hitman 2, Ni no Kuni 2. But yeah.
A lot of Hades did more of the same type games.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of them, Forza Horizon 4 and WarioWare Gold.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know what both of those are, but they're real fucking good versions of that.
Yep.
And also, Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
That thing ended up being like real weird and fun, and I don't think Ryan Reynolds is the right choice for the film.
Yeah.
But the game, what a cute little fucking guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
What a crazy character. And it's a little slow and kind of boring at some point.
Only on 3DS?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I should dig out the 3DS and play WarioWare and Detective Pikachu.
They're both real nice.
Yeah.
I gave mine to a Salvos when I moved, so I guess I won't be playing them.
It's what a hard thing to have to move.
Well, I didn't touch it since I played Pokemon Ultra.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Both of those should come out on Switch anyway.
They should, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Are we
Okay,
into
baby.
the top 5?
We're at the business end.
Yeah.
Or end. You don't have to say business. It just means the end. The business end means the end.
Yeah, but I mean, if we had done our top 5 at the start of the ep and then we were doing all those other bullshit categories that have taken us over an hour to get through,
Yeah.
if we were doing them now, you wouldn't say we're at the business end.
Oh, it's
because the
party at the
business
front,
end is the
business
top
at the
5.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Good point.
And we started with a party, all those dumb things we did.
Yeah.
Now, let's get down to ass tax.
All right.
You got to pay the ass tax. With an ass like that, let me get a Austin Powers original.
So we were party up the front, business up the back, sort
Yeah.
of like
Yes.
the early 2000s kind of indie haircut with the long fringe.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And like short at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The frullet.
Who wants to start?
Oh, God. Let's
Rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah, sure.
All right. We can't do it all three at once.
I am just
though.
happy to kick it off. But
Great. Rock it is.
I thought we were doing rock, paper, scissors to see who got to start.
Well, okay. You two do it then, because I don't want to start.
All right.
do you not want... You don't want to start or you
No,
do
I
want to
do,
start?
I do.
Oh, okay, sure.
John, Ken, Bo. Oh, 2 scissors. 2 papers. Can they do it all? Tommy goes rock, Ben goes scissors. Tommy starts.
Okay. Celeste. In spite of what you guys were saying.
I was hoping you were going to say the same thing that I was.
Oh, really? That would have been great. Yeah, look, I really had to kind of... It sort of wasn't on my list for ages as I was kind of thinking about it, sort of because I had forgotten that it had been this year, to be honest, because it came out in January.
Yeah, fuck, right.
So much January shit.
Yeah. I played it...
Name one other January thing.
Monster Hunter, Dragon Ball. I'll name 2.
Well, he's got me there.
Monster Hunter January?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Australia Day.
Yeah, fuck.
May 8th.
Yeah, I played this. When it came out, I smashed it in about 2 weeks or something, and yeah, I don't think that it's boring and samey at all. I think that it introduced so many interesting new mechanics constantly in that way that every level had like a new little hook to it that I kind of at the start thought, oh, this is cool. You accumulate things as you go. And then it's just in that level, and then it's done. So each world kind of having a gimmick, I thought was really interesting. It makes you good at it. Like by the end of it, you have learnt. Like you have learnt how to play it. You have to get better, and you have to commit to it. And the sense of achievement of getting to the end of it was so rewarding. Of really feeling like you have come such a long way in this game, and the fact that that being quite literal in the game, that you're scaling a mountain.
Yeah,
like the fact that you reach the top of the mountain. I thought the style of it and the music and just all the writing of it, I fucking loved. I thought it was just such a great kind of pure example of what I think is so fun and good about video games at their kind of core, at the essence of what I really like about playing a good video game. Yeah, I thought it was truly fucking great. And the fact that I had not paid really any attention to it like before it came out, it kind of, I can't remember where, I think someone I knew got it on the day it came out and was talking about it, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll check that out, and was just like hooked pretty quickly, and then pretty quickly losing like hours of sleep to sitting up and playing it in bed. So yeah, that's my number 5. Thought it was really fucking great.
This guy likes Celeste.
Who is this girl? I wasn't paying attention. Should I go next?
Yeah.
All right. Here I go. Ready to say my Astrobot Rescue Mission is my number 5. Definitely, the fifth best video games experience I had of the year. It was innovative. It's the best VR game that exists.
Yep.
It was a fun 3D platformer that I don't even tend to like those normally.
Yeah.
It was the best way to use a VR headset. I was totally immersed. It was smart, having to look around to find little clues and extra things. The way that it sort of mucked around with your perspective, I thought was really fun. It was so well thought out in every way, like the interfaces, the design things, the little sort of visual cues and stuff. I just thought it was a really smart platformer that happened to be VR.
Yeah.
And then also really good at VR.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I'm so glad that, because I think you were the first one to play it, Nox.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And you were like, guys, this VR game is very good. And it was a little bit of like, oh, is it really?
Yeah, totally. Well, it's the moment. Look, I reckon I'll talk about it in just a moment, because my number 5 is Detroit Become Human.
Oh my God.
I am ranking mine based on fun. Let's talk Astrobot more later.
Yeah.
This is the 5 games I had the most fun with this year. This isn't the best.
Wow.
And genuinely, I didn't laugh as much at any other game.
Yep.
I had such an urge to see what was next with that game.
I had an urge to go back and play it again from the start, because I wanted to see what stupid story paths they would have.
It looked incredible.
It did look
just
amazing.
in a genuine positive sense.
Yeah.
Everyone committed so hard to their bad fucking roles.
Yeah.
Every aspect of it was the perfect bad thing.
Yes.
I hate things like The Room. Normally fucking hate watching them.
Well, I was going to say, that's kind of the equivalent. It's a bad movie.
But
I can't believe you two pricks were looking down your nose at me for putting Celeste on my list. And now we're sitting here in our top 5 talking about Detroit fucking Become Human.
A bad game.
Jesus.
I wasn't looking down my nose at it.
Almighty.
I was looking sideways because I've seen it before.
Yeah.
But fucking Detroit, name something else other than Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls that comes anywhere close to what a fucking weird train wreck it is, but in such a professional and well done way. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's this terrible idea, and just the core of it is rotten.
Yes.
Like, the ideas behind it and actually what it's trying to say is just bad.
Yeah.
But it's done so well that it becomes this weird fucking just painful explosion to watch that is so enjoyable, like genuinely enjoyable. This crazy fucking dude who thinks he's preaching the word of God and like keeps accidentally farting during it. You know what I mean? It's this fucking really, really great experience that no one should ever pay money for or buy
Or put in their top 5.
I had it. If I'm being honest,
Shouldn't have put it in your
it was
top
the
5.
5th most fun time I had with a game this
Jesus
year.
Christ.
I think you're insane.
I remember it.
You need to
and
put out an apology video for this.
I remember it fondly. I didn't do anything wrong.
Let me be human.
Genuinely, I think it's a landmark piece of media
That's wild.
in a sense.
It's fun, but
Should we bother doing... What's the point? Honestly, what is the point of doing the rest of our lists? If this is the kind of mockery that's going to be made of it.
I genuinely think that it is like a super... This game will be around for ages in people's minds.
Right.
Who got the same thing out of it as me, which isn't no one.
no, it's me as well. I just wouldn't put it in my top 5.
If it's the 5th, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Okay.
It's the 5th most fun I had with a game.
Look, this is going to, at the very least, spark discussion.
I know that it breaks my rule, but I would have preferred you put Hollow Knight on the list over this.
I had
Yeah.
a fun... No, it still would have been below Hollow Knight, but still, I can't name anything else that has given me the same feeling that this has.
Okay.
I've never gotten into the this is bad, so I'm laughing at it thing.
Yeah.
Don't like The Room. Don't like listening to someone who's just legitimately bad at things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
someone being competent but an awful person, maybe. I don't know. That's not fair.
Right.
Competently
Oh, no,
doing
because
such
it wasn't there stuff about the studio where it is fucked?
Yeah. And just...
Sexist. It's like weird sexist comments in the studio.
And more. But
more,
like...
yeah.
The way of it being the mess in the way that it is, where it's a perfectly made mess, but someone's built this ugly fucking statue out of gold is
I think you would be
joy.
more okay with this if you'd played it, Tommy.
No. You're not okay with it, and you've played it.
I'm not angry with it. I think he's wrong. I think he shouldn't be
I'm not angry.
I don't think it's the 5th best game of the year, but it is my 5th top experience
it's your 5th
of the year.
Yeah.
It's your 5th favorite game of the year.
It is one of my top video game experiences of the year.
Okay.
From beginning to end, watching this fucking moron try and write a parable about slavery.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
God.
Okay, number 4s. My number 4. Do we want to just keep going around in this order?
Yeah.
My number 4, Smash Brothers Ultimate. Nothing much more to say about it. We've talked about it at length the last 2 weeks. But yeah, I was looking forward to it. Didn't expect to enjoy it solo as much as I have been, and I think that's the reason it's on the list, is because of the sheer amount of single-player content that there is, which is something you talked about earlier, Knox.
I'm going to jump in and say it's my 4th as well.
Great.
For the same reasons.
Great, yeah. Super fun, super great, and something that I think people will be playing for a very long time, just because of the amount of stuff that there is to do in it.
Yeah.
Looks great, feels great, just is fun, and so much is in it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and in terms of, like I said before, Spider-Man missing out because it's fun, but it doesn't feel like an achievement. Like, just the amount of stuff that is crammed into this just feels like you can feel the amount of hours that went into crafting this game.
In a really thoughtful way too, not just like we've put heaps of content in here, we're grinding against this mill, but every one of those little spirits has a fun little thing about it.
Yep.
Every character, just like the detail and the touches on everything are people who are passionate about making this thing.
For me, what pushes it over the edge is the classic mode being different for every character. That is the thing that takes it from like, oh, there's heaps in here, to like, Jesus fucking Christ, they've sat and come up with something unique for every single character, and it's on a theme and it makes sense. Even if the character is obscure and doesn't really have that much background to it or whatever, they've still found a way to make it feel like, oh yeah, you go on a little journey with this character through all these different fights.
And at the end, some of them being like, you fight Dracula.
Yeah.
Is sick.
Yeah.
It's both detailed and incredibly slick. Like, it is polished, it looks amazing. It has that Mario Kart, just like, boom, this is a top tier product. As well as, all of that nice, fun, little detailed personal stuff.
Same as Mario Kart 8, which isn't happening to it now, but I just want them to iterate on this. Just add DLC to this, more characters, keep it coming.
It's hard to imagine a more perfect, mechanically, version of this game. So I would just add some more stuff to it.
I would say it is the ultimate Smash Brothers.
Hell yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's just my personal opinion.
Interesting take.
Fuck, he's coming out with some weird ones today, isn't he?
No, I said it was interesting because I was trying to wrap my head around it. I just had to buy some time.
I'm interested to work out what the fuck's going on with you.
Yes. My number 4 is Monster Hunter World. It's a fantastic game. It's again, very polished. It's a cohesive product. It knows exactly what it is, and it does it to a T. It's not a story-driven game. The story, in fact, is kind of lame. But what it does is set up this perfect little set of characteristics and structures and systems and go, all right, fucking go and hunt a monster. And it's really fun. It's so satisfying to be successful at it, because it's fucking hard. It's hard from the start. And for you to be like, oh, great, I got this. I finally got this fucking monster talon to make this extra piece of armor that's going to make me this much stronger to get this big guy is very satisfying. And the fights are so dynamic and fun and crazy, and it's just a really enjoyable game. And I understand why people play it for 300 hours.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to yet, but it's just a fantastic game. It's really, really good. It's my number 4.
I think that's why I bounced out after like 8 or so, or maybe a little bit more, because I couldn't commit.
Yes.
You know?
You got to commit in the same way that a platformer needs you to play it over and over to get good at it. You have to figure out the weird timing and the weird weight of the weapons and the strange way that the characters move, because it's not really comparable to anything else I've played.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's comparable to everything else in the series.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe easier.
But
I think that was the big thing was that this was meant to be the most approachable it had been for newbies in forever.
Yeah, but even so, and it's probably like I haven't persevered on games like Bloodborne or Dark Souls and haven't got the enjoyment out of it that other people have. But I did it with this game for whatever reason, and it's great.
Have you played the web browser version of Monster Hunter?
No.
You just type "Let me be Frank" into Google, and it
and then what happens?
Right.
Well, Hunts does a little Google hunt for a monster for you.
Oh, great.
What's your number 3, Tommy?
My number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2.
Can I just jump in here and say this is my number 3 game as well?
Really?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh my God, we've synced up.
Twinsies!
So,
okay.
I think this was maybe I probably said this on an earlier episode, but the best, I think, media experience I had this year.
Right.
I don't think it was the best gameplay experience I had of the year, to the point where when I was working out where to put it on the list, when I was kind of thinking about it, I almost felt like I was thinking about a different form of media that's not a video game.
Maybe I'll jump in here now so we
it's
can
your
all
number
talk about
one.
it. It's my number one.
Yeah.
It's my number one. And it is definitely my favourite media experience of the year.
Yeah.
And it's only bettered in terms of a gameplay experience by my number 2.
Right.
I found the controls matched what was happening in a way that made sense to me. Mm-hmm. I didn't find it awkward or unenjoyable. I just got used to it pretty quickly, and everything else about it, including the detail of the world, which is almost incomprehensibly incredible.
Yeah.
Is it's far and away, I think, the best game I've played.
I don't. There's just something I still find very weird about it, where I think it is great. I think it's doing so many things really great. There's stuff about it that I still am kind of at odds with, but like I think everything that it does well, it does perfectly. That at a certain point, I early on I was like, okay, I think I'm going to have to stop playing this because I'm finding the controls so fucked.
Right.
And then eventually I just got my head around it at the same time that all the good bits of it, like the story and the pacing, was ramping up to such an extent where I was like, okay, well, this other shit doesn't really matter now because I'm liking all the rest of this so much.
Just to reiterate, I'm going to talk about the story real plainly now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So if you don't want any spoilers for almost the end of Red Dead Redemption 2, then stop listening. I think the story has some issues. And because a lot of it is so good, the bits that I thought were kind of poorly done about it stood out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think the whole bit with, what's the name of the island?
Oh, Guama?
Guama.
Yeah.
Is so tonally weird and just kind of seemed like this odd, the deleted chapters thing in the middle. That I didn't really like Guam, and that felt like a bit of a chore.
Okay, I loved it, and it reminded me of sort of certain books that I've read where they literally will go sideways for a chapter or for like 100 pages.
Yeah.
And you come back and it has relevance to the plot or the themes or the character's arc, but at the time it is totally a departure.
Yeah.
I don't think for me, it didn't really do anything story or like character-wise. I thought it was just technically a very good way of shaking you up where at the point that it comes along, you are very settled into what you're doing and you're like, oh, okay, well, we get run out of town and then we go camp somewhere else. And for me, it was very effective at just like going, what the fuck's going on here? Like it really shakes you up and it really rattles you loose and going like, how long am I going to be on this bit for? And it was part of what started to happen more and more as I got closer and closer to the end, where I would sit down to play a mission before bed, and then all of a sudden, like I got up to that bit and was just like, I couldn't put it down because I just wanted to see what was going to happen with it, and did that entire section in one sitting, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it's 3 a.m. now.
Yeah.
I had
like
the
that
same
happened
experience,
more and more towards the end. So I don't know that it necessarily added anything to the story or the character for me, but I thought what it did to just break it up and really shake you out of it, and then when you go back, that feels like an event too.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this is kind of cool coming back and seeing what's happened. And
I think it's maybe that thing of like the story, especially towards the back half of the main bit. The epilogues are a separate thing that we'll talk about in a second. Mm-hmm. The spiking and troughing, the peaking and troughing that it does 4 times towards the end of it really seems like it's ramping up to a crescendo and then backs off. And then ramps up and then backs off. I this might just be a personal taste thing. I don't think I liked that pace about it.
Right.
Towards the back end, where like the stuff with the hot air, and there's fucking cool ass missions like the hot air balloon and all that shit are really good in a bubble. And then the overarching thing, I think, just felt a little like jolty.
That's interesting. I think that what it is doing is it's showing you like the world of your character falling apart quicker and quicker and quicker as it gets closer to the end.
And it does get quick. Like towards the end, they're really going like, man, I suddenly fucking hate Dutch, who's my dad. Well, and that stuff just didn't ring true for me towards the end. But most of it still did. Like I think it's a fucking really well-written story for the most part. Just those bits sticking out are more because the rest fits in so well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Once you get to be a 10...
Sure. I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I also think that I don't know that I think the epilogue thing is very effective.
I started fucking nailing in fence posts and went, nah, motherfucker, I got a life.
I think it's just a bit of a
Not
problem.
Not that you don't have a life if you finished it, but...
But I just think that I was in loving the pace of it where it had ramped up so considerably towards the end of the story and you've invested so much time into this character. And by the way, I only found out from talking to someone the other day that the same thing happened in number 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you have this attachment to this character and it's reached this real heavy pace and then it just resets and it's like I just couldn't make myself care about, and I know you're playing as the guy from the first one, and I know that if you've played the first one, maybe you expect that as a device, but I just kind of felt like I would have rather it just end, or there maybe be a bit more in the main story to it, because I just keep going, I just want to fucking play as Arthur again. Like
Arthur's such a great character.
Yeah.
That
he is, yeah.
It does... I don't think it's bad or good, the epilogue, because it's done in the first one similarly too. Yeah. And like, there's more to it in this one. And playing as John Marston again is cool.
Yeah.
But the whole the story with Arthur is so good.
Yeah.
That having this weird, here's season 1.5 of the show before it gets to season 2, which is Red Dead 1. You know what I mean? Like this made for the internet episode that is afterwards.
You know what? Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. That's how I feel about it that I haven't been able to put into words. It feels like DLC.
Yeah.
To me. It feels like an add-on that's come out 4 months after you've finished the thing that's like, oh, I guess I'm happy to kind of like restart. But I was like, you're deep into doing all this very frantic stuff and then all of a sudden you're just very abruptly doing these very
and there's nothing innately wrong with it.
No, it all still, all the stuff that you've been loving about it is all still there and everything.
I think just like the Arthur story comes to such a fucking end.
Yes.
That you wanted to make you put the controller down for a week.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah,
having it sort of rattle on, you're like, you know, when everyone kind of half sits back down after a Marvel movie.
Totally,
feels a bit like that.
I wanted to end it and then walk away from it and let it all kind of sit with me and, you know, go over it in my head instead of feeling like I haven't finished it. I technically feel like I still haven't finished it.
Well, you haven't. Yeah. I think if you haven't finished the epilogues, you haven't finished the game. Because there are aspects of the story that only reach closure by the end of the second part of the epilogue. And I think they're crucial to play. And like maybe you play them after having a month of not playing the main story, but you do get to know John a bit better. You get to know Sadie better. His son gets character development. He has this weird little semi-life on this farm that they have to then fuck off because things catch up with them. Yeah. You get to figure out who John is more, which maybe means more if you played the first game. Yeah. It definitely does. But you also figure out who the Mrs. Adler is. Mm-hmm. She has a life after the whole gang's dispersed. Yeah. You catch up with certain other members of the gang and close off some threads.
But that's my point. I mean, knowing and seeing from the progress bar how much of the completion that the epilogues account for. Yeah. I think that's kind of... I just think it's sort of, I don't know, for me, a little bit mismanaged in that, like, if it is crucial, I think the way it resets you to do it to be sort of all of a sudden doing things so slowly. I think maybe it could start getting into the meat and potatoes of it a bit, because it does make it feel like it does make it very easy for you to walk away from. And I think that's a fault for me.
And I would say a similar thing where, just from a storytelling perspective, having Sadie seem like a less developed character than she becomes in the epilogue during the main part is a negative thing. Same with John and Jack.
I didn't think she was poorly developed in the main thing.
I thought she was kind of...
I always talked to her though.
Yeah, same. In the camps, I ended up talking to everybody, and that was a cool way of doing it, and it was sort of up to you how much you wanted to engage with it. But, like, I guess I just mean not having closure to... Like, the last thing you see of her is I'm riding off with someone else from the camp and see you later. The story ends, and there's more story after that feels like Lion King 2 on DVD. You know what I mean?
Right, but it's not. It's in the game.
It is in the game, but it is paced poorly to me.
Right.
That pacing didn't work for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But it's still like the high points of that story are fucking sick.
Yeah.
The bits of it, like playing as Arthur dying of TB.
Yeah.
Is really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was very effective.
Never played a game with that sort of worked into it.
It's like you can pick it apart and it becomes a sort of obvious like analog for the end of the Wild West.
Yeah.
But I think that's good. I think it adds a feeling to you playing the game.
Totally.
That means it's successful,
I think you could argue that him fucking seeing a stag or a wolf again and again is lame as shit too.
Sure, yeah.
But it's just done so earnestly.
Yeah.
And like Arthur Morgan is so well played and so well written. But I really gave a shit about that dude.
Yes, which like I think I certainly felt from the trailers and stuff, and even the start of the game, like this is a cliche. Like this is tough guy who I don't even care about getting to know.
Yeah. You go chew your tobacco somewhere else, motherfucker.
Yeah, and by the end you're like sad that he dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, genuinely sad.
Yeah.
And that you get the two little different endings that are based on if you were bad or good.
I think it might be
4.
more than 2, yeah.
Right.
There's 4. There's whether you decide to go for the money or help John, and then within each of them you're on it where your honor meter is. So I think I got the worst possible one.
I got Good and John, which is like that's Good Boy Arthur, which I think Good and John.
That's the best possible one, yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
I got what I think is personally the most appropriate ending for the whole story, which is helping John and then getting brutally shot down. Yeah, which it's like, fuck, that dude probably deserved that by the end.
Towards the back end, he starts to... something else that I thought was fucking really weird about it. I can't remember if I brought this up. Every time you end up speaking to the Native Americans, they bring in this weird pan flute that doesn't have... like this like cartoony kind of like...
Right.
You know what I mean?
I honestly, I was surprised that it didn't get more flack for it being so like 1950s Hollywood stereotype.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I don't know enough about it.
Maybe.
But
I don't know either, but it just
it's
struck
a Wild
me as
West
like...
thing, so it's going to end up being tropey.
Yeah.
Oh, and like address the things and like, hey, guess what? There's going to be a bunch of shit about race in a Rockstar game in the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, it was like, I don't know, whatever. Better than Rockstar could have done.
100%.
For sure. Yeah. And I liked that about it, that it didn't have that. I liked how crazy some of the side missions were while still being not super ridiculous for the most part. There's a couple with like the magician guy and that sort of shit where like one of the side missions is literally like, get a load of the weird shape of this guy's head.
True. Which, I think there was enough content in there because I think I did like everything.
It's massive, that game as well.
So it's like if there's a couple of silly ones in there and it's the 700th one you did, it's like, okay, well at least we got 698 ones done tactfully and nicely.
Yeah.
Well, and just that scale combined with the detail in it as well is mind-blowing. It's insane that this game is possible.
Yeah.
And at the same time, same as any story, you need to be an incredible, fucking amazingly good storyteller to be able to make something that isn't a 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's really good, but at the same time, there's this part you can pick out and that part.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a criticism, more just like a not a criticism in the angry sense, a criticism in the his critique.
Yeah.
But
And the gameplay's rough at times.
Yeah, see, I like it. I like it. I also don't think it's something that you don't get better at. I just don't think it has obvious blockers in front of you. Like, I think that, you can muddle through the game without getting to a point where you can't continue. But, like, I got better at the game as I played it. Heaps. Like, I was fucking nailing headshots every single time by the end.
I got better at that for sure, but never found the shooting fun.
No,
Really.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think
all the
that's fair.
controls felt like a tool, like a means to an end, a lot more than an innately fun aspect of it themselves, which is always the case with every Rockstar game.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, it fits, it makes more sense because, hey, the gun's old, the dude's been around for a long time, everything's fucking covered in mud. Like, that's maybe wanking it away on my part, but
well, I mean, my complaints about this.
Well, it is.
But the best part of that game is feeling like you're a part of this world, and anything contributing to it, even by happy accident, does contribute to it.
My complaints about this are my complaints of every Rockstar game. So it's just stuff that they always do that I don't think they've ever done particularly well. So they weren't things that were like, oh, this is a shame that it's like this. It was just like, oh, that's right. They sort of do things like this, and the things that I thought were the best about it were the things that typically I don't think Rockstar have done particularly well at times.
Yeah, I think
like
that's
I think
fair.
they've maybe been at like 80%, like the believability of the world and the writing just not having any clunky shit in it. I kind of think they've always done pretty good characters.
Yep.
But this is just at the peak of all of that stuff. Like the bad things in it were just bad in a way that, like, I love GTA 5, but the stuff I don't like in this is stuff I didn't like in that.
Yeah.
It's just how they make games.
A lot of it's just if you're in the mood not to play that type of game where, like, if there's a mission where the mission is, hey, shoot 20 people, maybe I wouldn't have enjoyed that in any game on that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just so much of this and it takes so much of your time that, of course, there's going to be bits where you go back and forth on even having fun.
Yeah.
If you're playing something for 60, 70 hours.
But I think you're right. The things that are done here to a level that have never been done before in video games certainly weren't done in GTA 5, which obviously is, a tautology. But, like, the best things about GTA 5 were the, like, cinematic set pieces and the scale of the world. Yeah. But the best things about Red Dead 2 are, like, the emotion.
But that's what I mean when I say that I think it's like the best experience of the year, while sometimes being not always the best gameplay experience, because there's bits of it, even though I was sucked into it for hours and hours, where I would think about it the next day and go, was that objectively fun?
Right.
Like, pick someone up and put them on the back of your horse and ride them through, to wherever. Yeah. That's going to take a little while. It looks great, and I enjoyed doing it, but would I say that it was fun to do in the way that it's really fun to fuck around in Smash Brothers and just like see what sticks? Like, I don't think that's always the case, and that's not a knock, but it's just I said, it was really interesting to work out where to put this on the list, because the way that it works as a game is really at odds with pretty much everything else that I played this year that I enjoyed. And what I enjoyed about it was so different to what I enjoyed about other things.
It feels like a wonderful hike where it's beautiful and it's work at times, but you're so glad you did it.
Yeah.
And it was really rewarding, and just like there were parts along the way where you're like, I can't believe I saw that.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
And most games are roller coasters where you're like, wee.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's part of why it's at the top of my list, and like by far for me, because I think that I value that stuff a lot. Like I think the leap forward that this has taken in terms of the way a game can treat a story with seriousness and weight and emotion is worth making a point of.
Yeah.
So,
All
good
right.
game.
Number 3 for us, number 1 for Ben.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Did you do your number 3?
No, I did not. Far Cry 5 is
Ah.
my number 3. A very enjoyable game. Fun.
It is a roller coaster.
Yeah, it totally is.
In a park.
It's GTA 5 of Far Cry's. It's fun and over the top and silly, and has a massive world with a lot of detail. Its story is dumb.
I got annoyed by it at times because it would wrestle control off of you and make you watch, and you're like, I don't really give a shit about this angel lady.
Yeah. But like, fuck, for a game that was set in this like mountainous region, it was just beautiful.
Yeah.
It did that perfectly. It was fun to be in, sailing down the river, looking at shit, blowing shit up, driving a purple semi-trailer as fast as it goes.
Just how simple to make it too for you, but then the shooting feels like perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
It's good.
It's a good game. It's like, I don't know if it's better than 3 or 4.
Man, they've all got to be on the same level, right? For the year they came out.
I think
they're
so,
almost exactly the same game.
It's the new Mission Impossible movie. Like, it's... I think it's... a good game that I have nothing really more to say about.
Yeah.
It felt like it was, an early kind of like AAA of the year that then got, a lot of people forgot about it towards the back end of the year just because of there were a lot of like big heavy hitters kind of in a row.
Yeah.
That really wowed people. But
The Far Cry arcade mode in it is fucking cool.
Yes, I really like that. I played a bunch of that at the time. Again, this is a game that I played for the month that, following it coming out and just loved it. Loved playing it every day. It's a super, super fun game.
Great.
With the detail and scope as well.
Yeah.
And with pretty much one note that it hits.
Yes.
Really well and with like a rocky attitude.
Yeah.
But it's not complicated.
Totally.
Which it doesn't need to be. Not everything needs to be complicated. Well, I've done my number 3.
Yeah.
Tommy?
So now we're on to 2. I reckon you and I have the same 3, 2, and 1.
What's your number 2?
But I'm also now overthinking it and wondering if I should switch my 1 and 2 around. Yeah. No. I'll stick with what my gut was telling me during the day. Astrobot Rescue Mission is my number 2.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah. I was just
not my number 2.
I was trying to
fuck my ass.
I was trying to predict that and I was like, maybe I should switch it around because if you want to talk just fun, wow. You said a lot about it before.
I'll jump in here just because you did with Red Dead. This is my favorite game of the year.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
You go with what you were going to say.
Yeah. Well, then, because, so, just, I like I said with Celeste, just a reminder of when you get down to the core of it, what I love about video games.
Yep.
It's doing all of it in spades. It's fun. It's creative. It's like you said, the best VR game.
Yeah.
Not that it's up against much competition, but I couldn't believe, just feeling like a kid again. And wherever we read it, that it was like the Super Mario 64 moment for VR. That right down to that feeling of playing it, being that age of that coming out, and not being able to believe what you're seeing. I chucked it on again the other day, having not played it for a couple of months, and was like, "Fuck, this is so good."
Yeah,
just great.
The happiest game.
Yeah.
I was smiling the entire time I was playing it, from either just the vibe of it, a new music track would come on that was great. Something looked really clever.
Yep.
There was an idea in it with the gameplay that was so new and just like, fuck, that's cool.
All right, fuck this. What do you think of this? It's my number 1 now too.
Oh shit! Shit! Well, then we shouldn't be talking about it yet. But all right, it's number 1.
This is unprecedented.
No, just talking about it, and then anyway, it's fucking great.
It completely sold me on the entire idea of VR.
Yeah.
Not only is this a great game on its own, whatever, it is this crazy poster bot for the idea that VR is actually a necessary part as a
tool to play games.
Exactly.
It would not work as an analog
without
stick. VR. It just wouldn't work.
It makes it make sense that this is, you can use this for interesting, intuitive things.
Yes, not just annoying little hurdles to jump over.
Yeah.
Things that increase your enjoyment of it.
You looking around an actual space is imperative to being able to play it. And it's imperative to being able to find hidden stuff.
And it's cool. You enjoy doing that.
And existing as that robot in that space is a smart idea.
Yes.
Every little piece of it is so thought out. In this really, not that Nintendo has a monopoly on being clever, but in a very Nintendo-ish way, this game is just every little tiny detail is I can see why you did that.
Yeah.
That's fucking clever.
Yeah.
God, that's cool as well.
Yeah.
It looks incredible.
We all said about it at the time, it's you just put it on and within 5 minutes you're like, I want to fucking show this to everyone.
Yes. Yeah.
And we are we're recording this right before we put it up, but I think yesterday or something, someone put in our group that there was like this insane deal at JB Hi-Fi where you could get the VR and Astrobot for a pretty reduced price. And so a bunch of people I know went out and got that deal, and I was just so happy and so excited. Like, yes, more people to talk about this with, and people that I know will fucking love it, because that's been the frustrating thing about it, is like, you two are the only other people I know who've played it, because not that many people have VR, and that's the one frustrating thing about it, is that it isn't more... That there's not a way of more people,
because you want to talk about every bit. Every level has some good idea. And it's just keeping on inventing the whole time that you're going through, and then everything that you do repeat. Given that little fucking handshake to the controller sized hole to start every level, like, is so smart because it feels nice. And it like sets you up to be like, okay, here we go, and it gives you a sense of space
and that feeling too of like I am. And I think we all are very easily distracted when we watch things or play things. You always got your phone there, so you die, and it's like, well, I'll check some messages while it's loading again, and then all of a sudden you realise it's loaded and you've had the game paused for 15 minutes while you check messages. Just the thing of like, you have the headset on, you have the headphones on, you're locked in to playing this game. Like, you can't check your phone in between levels. That's something to be said for, like, how deeply that makes you engage with something when it is a thing that is fit over your entire head.
Completely. And then everything that's happening is... there's so much going on, and every little bit is worth looking at too.
I think I keep trying to emphasize, like, there are so many aspects of VR games that are a chore. Wearing the headset can feel like a chore.
Totally.
You start to get sweaty, and you got to like wipe the eyes and shit, and like just having a crane in your neck can be annoying in these experiences.
It takes my eyes a few seconds to really kind of like adjust and not see things kind of blurry in there.
But this game is like, it makes you it makes the best use of the hardware. And it makes you want to be in that world.
Totally. Turning around behind you to see what's there is so fun.
Yeah.
You feel like you're driving a go-kart and you're like looking behind it.
And like, you gave the tip of like, sit on a rotating chair.
Really helps.
And it totally does as well. And just like, you want to get the best out of it.
If you can, rotating chair with no arms is the best situation. So you've got free movement completely. And then, like, the little robot himself is really cute, fun little mascot, and then he'll look up at you and wave, and you can like squirt him with the water and be like, fuck off, man. You can squirt yourself in the face with the water. All those little attachments you get for your controller are really fun to use. Nothing outstays its welcome at all. Every idea as well not only has, like, the fun idea, but then a couple of little details that make it good, like the little race level. There's a race through a volcano, and I think there's a couple of other races.
The minecart.
And then there's just like a little crowd of the enemies watching you at the start in a stadium, and these really nice little touches that don't happen unless you really give a shit about this game, and you've got a really creative, talented bunch of people working on it.
And it is borrowing a lot from a lot of other different games and series and stuff, but just the fact that they're like, the minecart thing is just like, it's straight out of Donkey Kong Country, but the way that it's presented here, it feels fresh, and it feels like a new take on it.
This could be Super Mario 3D VR world. Easily. But it's on that level, which is crazy. It's on the level of this is among, like, I can't think of really, with what's contained within the game, other than maybe the length of a floor. I can see how it's not your type of thing. Like platforming, I know you don't like that much, Ben. But in terms of it being a platformer, a VR game, and like this cute little world, it does all three of those main things that it is, in my opinion, perfectly. I'd love more of it.
You're right. That's the that's the thing where I went back and forth about where to put it on the list, was just because it's not... just the length of it, but
totally.
I'd say maybe, and this is maybe why I didn't engage with it or love it as strongly as you guys did, is the style is not what you would call distinctive. And the fact that it's a robot and there are sort of robotic enemies, by definition, mean they have no personality.
I do disagree with that for sure.
We talked about this when we reviewed it. I think he has personality, but I think the design of everything is pretty generic.
I like it.
I don't dislike it, but I definitely... Yeah. I think it's the thing where I love this game, but like you said, it feels like, it very much feels like a Nintendo game. I think it'd be the thing where if Nintendo got into VR in the next year and made a Mario one of these, you'd go, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like comparatively, it would be like, okay, that was great, but now we're forgetting about that because this with its actual kind of design ethos behind it.
In terms of the visuals, I think everything being so tangible because it's in VR really helps it.
Yeah.
But I could see
But I think it all works in context for what it is.
I'm not saying it's a flaw in that it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it not
doesn't stand
perfect.
out.
And I think if anything could be improved, it would be that aspect.
Visually, but then audioly, I think
orally.
it's fucking incredible.
I think
The
it's
music
great.
is so good.
The music's great.
And obviously the sound design, it has to be.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
But I would just say, character design-wise, a little uninspired. But that's probably the biggest flaw that I have. And even that, like, it's all animated very well, and I find the characters believable and great and cute and charming.
And I could agree with that to some extent outside of the robots, but I think the robots are actually really good.
Yeah, okay.
Because the animation and the movement that they have and the little attitudes of like some of them being asleep. And you've got to wake them up, and some of them being, and then flying into your controller and all that.
I think more though, it's like,
appealing.
What I mean is like a robot is less, you care about a robot less than you would an actual living thing.
I just don't have that same thing. I still care about this little robot.
I would think for you, Ben, it would be the other way around.
That's what I was hoping. I'm very confused. But great game. Like genuinely great game. I only don't have it higher on the list because of that sort of weird extra level of style or design that I didn't find to my taste.
Sure. I think the thing that put it at number 1 instead of number 2 as well is that it felt like this new thing that I want to see more of in the way that it did VR. And none of it is new, you're right. But it's just like the just confidence that it does it with, and just the pace that it all comes at you with, and then like it just fits and works, and it's not like, oh, that's a cool idea, like maybe that'll be the way to do VR. It all just fits and slots in, and you don't have to think about it when it just automatically clicks with you.
And again, it came out of nowhere. Like I knew nothing about it. Man, you were like, hey, I played this and it's really cool.
This is the sequel to a fucking 1/5 of a demo disc. You know, it's fucking crazy that it's my favorite game that came out this year.
Yeah.
I really am. Now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, I don't know where it should be on my list. I guess I'll stick with 2, but you're right. I didn't have more fun with a game than this.
Sure.
So I think we're now all just going to talk about the same.
What's your number
game?
2?
God of War.
Oh, mine is also God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I had God of War at number 1.
Have we done all of them now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. God of War.
We were down to 2 and 1,
Yeah. I had God of War at number 1 because it felt like, I don't know, I was trying to just clasp, well, what do I think is the achievements? I probably should have been a bit clearer in my own head about like I think you've actually done it in a really good way, Knox. Like just like
Detroit Become Human is the 5th best game of 2018.
No, but I think
this is the one bit where I deviate and I go, I did definitely love this enough for it to be in my top 5. I think I put it at number 1 because I think that as a game, it is objectively the best game.
I think I agree with that in the sense that it is every aspect of every one of these games that we've been talking about combined.
That's what I was going to say, It doesn't necessarily have the best story. I think Red Dead does. It doesn't necessarily have the most innovative gameplay. I think Astrobot probably does.
Yeah.
But it like has the best balance.
Yeah.
And both of those aspects are high.
This
enough.
is the game I would recommend to almost anyone to.
Yeah.
And all the other ones would be like, but if you don't have 50 hours, don't get Red Dead.
Yeah.
If you don't want to buy VR for like quite a short thing, don't get Astrobot. If you have a PS4, you should probably play God of War. I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
I do, and I don't mean to. I'm not saying like it doesn't have the best story, as in it's no good. I mean, it doesn't have literally the best.
I think it might, for me, have the best story.
Right.
I cared about this story, and I didn't expect to, and I think it's so cool the fucking turn they've made from the first 3 or 6.
Yeah.
The like this Kratos as a fucking deadbeat dad is so well done.
Yeah.
And develops so well over the course of it. Like,
it's true.
Almost to the point of something like The Last of Us, where this relationship between these two, not quite as good as that, really does develop and become interesting throughout the whole thing. And then the supporting cast is almost all great.
Yep.
I love the head.
Yeah.
The head's awesome.
I love starts with an F. Freya.
Yep.
I thought she was really well done and had like a creepy face at times because you're like, this looks like a person to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way that her face is moving is the way a human being's face moves.
Yeah.
And I'm terrified of it. It got an uncanny valley. I thought the acting was fucking good.
Yeah.
From all of them.
I thought it looked absolutely incredible.
Yeah. One
I
of the best
wish I'd
looking
played a
things.
bit more time with it. I'd spent a bit more time with it recently to kind of see how it stacked up to Red Dead. I mean, it's hard to compare because one's fantasy, so it can sort of do whatever it wants.
There's like 4 or 5 games that came out this year as well that I think are all on par with like God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead. I guess there's 3. Detroit looked fucking good.
I think Far Cry 5 looked great.
Far Cry 5 was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just that level that a lot of things are at now. Forza
But then
looked
God
fucking
of
amazing.
War, I think, was at that level and had an intricately detailed world.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a massive open world either. It was like, this is a believable ancient civilization. This is a believable fucking alternate dimension. Like, it nailed every aspect of it.
In terms of gameplay, it being like a sequel to Resident Evil 4 as well was fucking rad. In the same way that it has like these little sort of open bits that you go through and do some side stuff on, but it's mainly this kind of action game that takes you through these things. That over the shoulder, the fucking axe is amazing.
Yes.
The combat that's maybe one of my favorite experiences of the year in gaming. Like,
it's so
and that's
good.
what I mean. When you stack this up against Red Dead, this is just a pure game.
Yeah.
Like it never in the combat sections and in the way that it gives you new weapons. And my only complaint of it would be the kind of the RPG-ish elements where you're sort of building stuff up. I to me felt a bit like busy work and a bit like it kind of got in the way at times where I was like, oh, that's right, you can unlock all this. I would have enjoyed it the same amount without that in there. It didn't add anything for me.
I'd forgotten it was in there until you just said it. So I think I agree with that.
I've always liked, not to the extent that some other people do, but the sort of loot collecting games. I love the Diablo, like the first 2 games. I find that stuff satisfying, so I liked it,
and it didn't. I definitely didn't think it was burdensome. It just felt like this could be here or not. I don't really care.
So I tried to play it today again for the first time in months, and fuck if you walk away from it, it is so hard to come back to. I spent an hour and I was like, oh, I think actually maybe I should not have this in my top 5 at all because I kind of hate it. Like it's so fucking hard to get you. Like I'm like basically at the like I'm right near the end, but you are so kind of you don't realize how like good you've gotten at it.
Yeah,
and then stepping away from that, and I've lost all that, and I was like, oh, that's right. It's fucking trained you really well. Where now I'm just getting my fucking ass whooped.
And it's perfect that you don't notice that at all as you go on. And that fucking whole one-shot thing is not ever lame.
Yeah,
it works really well the whole time.
Yep.
And I thought the soundtrack was fucking awesome. That like main bwah, bwah, bwah. Where every time that came in, I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
It's also
some shit's going to happen.
It's inventive in terms of its set pieces and its visuals. Good. The big fucking world eater bit where you're in the tum-tums, a nice little break as
flying
well.
through the air on that fucking dragon or whatever it was.
Yep.
The bit in the middle where you get the chains again. I don't know, because you didn't play the first few God of Wars.
That's, I think, if we were doing moment of the year in gaming, that's it.
Oh my God. When I realized what the fuck was happening during that.
It's so well done. It's like one of these nostalgia reboot movies that have come out, but done perfectly.
Totally.
It lasts for 5 minutes and that's all you need.
It's Arnie putting the fucking sunglasses back on or whatever, but like way better because then you get to fucking hit people with the sunglasses.
Exactly.
And it fucking feels great. Even in this new different format, they've made that weapon work again.
There's a little bit of, I think, trepidation initially where you're like, oh, but we grew up and we got an axe. And then I'm going back to drinking Monster Energy drink and using the Blades of Chaos.
And I kind of love that, though, that it's this semi-reboot, but is also a sequel to the older ones.
A very good and well thought out sequel,
And I think, to give counterpoint to what you guys are saying, for me, having never played any of the other ones, it works successfully as just if this had just come out with nothing else leading up to it, it would still be as good.
Yeah,
You know,
well, because they take all that backstory of like, and the first 3 games are silly.
Yes.
It's him just going like, Zeus, I curse thee, blah.
And it's a lot of like, I found out he's my dad, and then I killed my son, and then my mum's over. Like, it's just
and
all
half
this
of it's about him
shit.
just tearing off everyone's head. He doesn't
Yeah.
actually give a shit about any of it. And he's
Absolutely.
a character with emotion and like a proper arc. Like the father-son story in that was great.
Yeah.
And
Even like the conflict that it introduces and leaves lingering and stuff.
the mix of personal stuff with like all the god shit is great.
Yep.
I really want to see Thor and Odin become a thing in the next ones. I like this fucking twist of him being Loki. That's sick.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, what's going to happen?
Yeah. Probably something bad.
Probably. I'm glad that it's set up for like another trilogy, I guess.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, fuck, man. And just minute to minute, it felt good. It had that solid, real chunky feeling that like all my favorite games I've ever played have had, like Metroid Prime and shit, just feel like when you land on rock, you land on rock. And it's this solid, like connecting with the axe that feels great.
The puzzles are good as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just a good combat, like not just a good action game. There's fun, interesting puzzles.
Totally.
Yeah.
All those set pieces, like you said, are just fun and they come at the exact right moments with the story. The thing I was saying with the pace of Red Dead, this is the opposite of that, where I think this really perfectly goes in this just great pace the whole way through.
Right. Yeah.
I think the story and the speed at which it takes place is just about right.
Yeah, I agree.
With this. In an action movie, type of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fucking good game, eh?
Good year.
It is 3 games better than Detroit. Become human.
Don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's our lists done.
Those are the best games of 2018, definitively.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good year. Really good year.
Great year.
I'd say a stronger year for games than many other mediums.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't really have any favorites of anything outside of games this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll discuss that on our year-end wrap podcast over at our Patreon feed.
Yeah. Sign up for $10 a month and you can get that in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, folks, that's it. That's another year for us here
A
at
new
Filthy
one's
Casuals.
just begun.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening and supporting us during the year and for all the chat in the Facebook group and on our main pages and all that stuff and the emails.
What a year it's been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a crazy year for the podcast here too.
It really has, yeah.
But I tell you what, I'm quitting.
I guess next week we'll do our look ahead at 2019.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Or our catch-up on games we didn't play this year, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, we've done one of those every year. I don't know. Whatever.
There's some
We'll work it out.
2019 ones
Yeah.
that I guess we should talk. A lot of them come out in fucking January though, so who knows what the point of...
Well, yeah.
We'll figure it out. You'll
Yeah.
see next week, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, thanks for listening. We will see you next week. Check out the Patreon if you want more content. And as we say at the end of every one of these...
Happy New Year. I said that like I couldn't give a fuck. Happy New Year! Hooray!
Hey. 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 Hey.